TV, Matchday Live, powered by Blythe Group.
Jimenez into the area, back onto his left foot, Raul Jimenez! Raul Jimenez gives Wolves the lead! Traore! Another Traore! Oh my word! Jimenez brings it down on the body! Oh, you must be kidding me! Ruben Neves has just struck a sensational goal! Because it all that's unbelievable! Charmatinho has whipped it into the far top corner! Can you believe this?
Matchday Live on Wolves TV, powered by Blythe Group. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
A very good afternoon and welcome to the home of football. We are back at Molineux and hopefully to witness a return to form as far as Wolverhampton Wanderers are concerned. Disappointing result at West Ham last time out. Hopefully a big response is on the way here at the Golden Palace. Alongside me, as ever, is the Hall of Famer Andy Thompson, Chris Iwelumo joining us from home as well. And for the first time this season, also delighted to welcome back to Matchday Live Extra Carl Ikeme as well. Before kickoff, we will talk to a man who's played for both these teams in Richard Stearman, and there is an awful lot to discuss before we get underway at 2. One massive talking point that we have to begin with, because it affects the team news as far as today is concerned, is the impending departure of Ruben Vinagre. He is not here, not involved today. It looks highly likely that he will be on the move to Olympiacos. And Andy Thompson, it's one of those situations whereby he's played a big part in the evolution of Wolverhampton Wanderers in the last couple of seasons, but perhaps maybe hadn't quite progressed in the way Nuno would have wanted.
No, I think that's the biggest thing that you've just said there, that he hasn't progressed in the way that Nuno wants him. So, look, he's had opportunities. He's had the chance of coming into the side with Johnny being out injured for most of this season. And Nuno's put him in and was hoping that he could produce, but unfortunately it just hasn't worked for him. Look, say he's a good player. So, look, he's still young. So, look, he's still got a lot of time to mature, but it just didn't work out for him, unfortunately, and we can't afford to keep waiting for him to develop as much as the Nuno wants him to.
Looms, is there this element sometimes where as a young player, you kind of need to play games to develop? And in the last couple of years, he was Barry Douglas understudy, he was Johnny's understudy, and he needs to go and play week in, week out to get to a level that maybe what Wolves saw in him 3 years ago.
No, you're 100% right, Mikey. What I have to say, you saw little glimpses of the quality that he has, but I have to say exactly what Tomo said. He never really took his chance, but just coming in every now and again, it's very hard for a player, a young player especially, to kind of make that position his own. But he has improved. But again, I think just going out, getting that football, I think he will realise himself playing regularly, playing a lot, that getting those minutes in the legs, and he'll become a better player for it. It's just a loan, isn't it, Mikey? It's not a permanent, isn't it? So it's one of those, he can go there, be successful, and then hopefully Wolves will reap the benefits of that when they bring him back.
Well, I imagine in all these kind of deals these days, there is a possibility that it could become permanent if he does well. I guess that might suit both sides. I mean, Carl Ikeme, as a goalkeeper and a young goalkeeper coming up, you're well aware of what it's like to have to be patient and then try and take your opportunity when it comes. And it doesn't always necessarily come when you expect it to.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And I think with Vinagre, I think he would have liked more game time. But I suppose that's just because of the excellence of Johnny, really. And I can never say he's let Wolves down. I think he's been good at times, really good. You can see the potential in him, definitely. But maybe it's both ways, really. Maybe Wolves don't see him as a long-term replacement for Johnny or someone who can compete with Johnny. And maybe Vinagre wants to move on to play games as well. So I think we'll all wish him the best. It's just we just look a little bit light down that side now, so it'd be interesting to see what Wolves do next. And I know Max is in there today, and I'm sure he'll do a good job. But I think he's probably more naturally a left-sided centre half from the games I've seen. So it'd be interesting to see what Wolves will do from here now.
Well, we know that there is a possible incoming in that position. I guess more will come out over the next 24, 48 hours or so as we close in on the end of the transfer window, with Wolves obviously looking to strengthen. Just on that Ruben Vinagre point, though, Keems, it's that element, isn't it, of kind of, might not necessarily have let the team down at any point, but there becomes a question at some point of how much is he going to offer in that position. And we know that he has pace. We know that he has a little bit of trickery, but it comes down to that kind of final delivery sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, I think he's a good player. And a little bit disappointed to see him go. But if there is a replacement coming in that they see that will be better long term and maybe better short term as well, then I know the club won't hesitate to replace people as they've done already, and they're probably thinking that Johnny will be back at some point this season as well. So, and it's probably a bit of all parties agree it's probably best for everyone, really. And like I said, I think Vinagre is a good player as well, and I think he will be a good player. He just needs to play every game, and I suppose with Wolves at the minute, he's not looking like he's going to cement his position, really. And I think that's what he needs. He needs to know that he's playing it week in, week out. And Wolves need to know that they can rely on someone week in, week out there as well. So I think it's just a mixture of everything. Like I said,
it shows you where Wolves are as well. I think for that progression, that you kind of have to be ruthless. If a player's not doing it, not reaching those levels, then you go and look for someone that can. And like you say, that's just part and parcel of football. You have to take your chance when the opportunity comes. If you don't, then it may pass you. But I think we can never question the recruitment of Wolves. I think it's been success. A lot of big players, important players, influential players have left the club. And we were all surprised, but time after time, Nuno has got it right. So we just have to believe in what Nuno wants, the path that he wants to take. And like you say, if there is any movement in the next day or so, then that's going to be very interesting. But it's going to be for the benefit of the football club.
Exactly. And just to go on from that as well, if you look at the way Wolves play, how you think with the sort of let the fullbacks, like, yeah, he's good. He's like Vinagre's good. He does it. He can do his job. Like, he can do it well as well. But it shows how important the fullbacks are to Wolves' team in general. That's why they brought Semedo in for 35 mil. It's important. That's the way we play. And I think that's probably where they're looking to replace, because them positions, them wide areas are so important for us.
I mean, this is the thing, though, isn't it? You mentioned kind of, Tomo, there is that balance between the here and now and what this team could be in 12, 18 months, 2-3 years' time. I mean, we talk about the lack of sentimentality. We're going to see somebody who's been involved in that in Ivan Cavallero starting for Fulham today. The club has to move on. You have to keep progressing through it. And sometimes tough decisions get to be made.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing that Nuno's had to deal with. But look, if you're a player or you're not playing regular football, you've got to be pushing the person in your position. And if Johnny comes back, would he be pushing him? Probably not. And at this stage of his career. And that's what you need. You need players who can come in, who can make the manager make a decision about who's going to play, basically. But he isn't giving him that problem. He's made it quite easy that when Johnny's fit, Johnny's going to come back in. And look, it's cutthroat business. You've got to win. It's all about progressing on as well. We said about the team evolving, and that's what we've got to do. So, look, again, you can't go on sentiment. You've got to make sure the team is moving forward, and Nuno just doesn't think that at the moment that he's ready to do that. And
I think as well, just to push on from that with sentiment, they won't be looking to think, well, Johnny will be back in 3-4 months' time, whatever. Like, we'll just get someone who can fill the gap. They're probably thinking we're looking for someone better than Johnny. So that's kind of where the club's at the minute, really. And we're not always going to get it right. But
it has to be, though, Keems, doesn't it? It has to be.
Yeah, it has to be. And it's not like I'm talking as players, and it's not nice, like, when you're not in favour and you're in love with the club and blah, blah, blah. But like, look at how the club's progressed in the last 2 or 3 years. Like, it's changed. Like, it's like a different club now, and it's for the better. And long term, it's for the better with the sort of similar attitude. We're going to have some continuity in the team, but it's going to be tough decisions that have to be made. And they've got majority of them right, in all honesty.
Well, the club's not happy just settling just to be in the Premier League, are they? They want to push on towards the top and be consistently up to the top. And that's what it's all about, making sure that we're pushing for honours, pushing for those European places. They're not just happy just being in this league and just being comfortable middle table. They are looking up rather than down.
Well, let's move on to that because we'll get to today's team in just 1 second. But last weekend's performance, and maybe more likely last weekend's result, was not what many fans would have been looking forward to, was not what many fans would have been expecting from that trip. Although we should point out that West Ham are 2-0 up at Leicester today, who have been absolutely flying at the start of the season. So maybe put some perspective on it, Chris Iwelumo. But there is this element today that Wolves will be expecting something a little bit different today against a Fulham team who are having real trouble to stop conceding goals at the moment.
Yeah, I think if you look at the last weekend's result against West Ham, it just shows you again how far Wolves have came. West Ham played that counter-attack football. They sat in, they allowed Wolves to have it because they knew that, you know, the quality that we have, that we can really hurt them. So we found that difficult to play against. And again, Mikel Antonio, who was outstanding on the day, caused our back three a lot of trouble, which isn't usually the case. They're very solid and professional in the performance. Now, I don't think you should look at anyone else. I think Wolves, we are a massive club, even in the Premier League. And with our performances and how we've established ourselves, it's teams have to have a game plan against us to not allow us to dominate the way that we have. If it's counter-attack football, there's no one that does it better than Wolves in the Premier League. So I think a lot of these teams are getting a little bit wise. And as Nuno's shown time and time again, he can mix it up. We can go a plan B. We've already spoken about the formation, how it changes, how it can drop in and be a back four at certain occasions, which is natural for the game to go. But like you say, today in my opinion, we will see a reaction because that result would have hurt. It hurt. You could see on Nuno after the match, the players would have definitely hurt and they'll show reaction. A Fulham side that is struggling, that is conceding a lot of goals. I do imagine, again, they are going to park the bus. You know, they'll be hard to break down and try and play counter-attack football with the pace that they've got in the team. We have to be up for that challenge. You know, we have to understand that we are going to have a lot more of the ball today. We have to be creative. We have to be inventive. We have to basically move the ball around a lot quicker than what we did against West Ham to have any joy today. And I think that was a learning curve. You know, and I see that's the way that Nuno looks at it. You're not going to have it all your own way. But when you come up against a fantastic West Ham performance, by the way, you learn from that. They won't do that to us again. Fulham, I feel, will take a lot from the West Ham performance, but they don't quite have that quality. So we have to make sure that a lot of teams this year, home and away, are going to say, right, allow Wolves to try and break us down and we'll play counter-attack. And they'll try and use, because, like you say, with the three at the back and with the full-backs bombing on, the wing-backs bombing on, there is space there. So teams are going to try and capitalise on that. But I think we're too savvy. I think we've learned our lesson. There would have definitely been work on the training field this week. The players would have spoke about certain things as groups of players do. That won't happen again. I see today it'll be a dominant performance. We'll get in their faces, and when we create the chances, we just have to make sure we're clinical as well.
Well, Keems, give us a little bit of an insight because you're kind of the one who's been most recently in amongst it. What's it like kind of when they get back in on a Monday morning or a Tuesday after they've done a bit of recovery work? Kind of, do you sit down and watch the whole game back as a group, or do you just kind of go, look, we need to put that behind us. We've learned, as Loom says, some of the issues that went on, and we're just going to focus on doing that this week?
I think it depends on the manager. The manager might want you to watch it back if he does make you watch it back and generally not that happy because you kind of know what happened. But football's not changed that much in general. We all know after we've been spanked on the weekend that Monday morning's not a nice day to come in. You know that there's going to be some tough conversations and they need to be had. But I think they would have been had on Monday. They would have spoke about what they should have done better. And then you always have that sort of, I think Monday morning's always that sort of grey area where it's just a bit of a weird place to be. Like, you're not happy about the result. People are not happy about each other. The manager's not happy with you. And you need to get that training sessions out of the way to be like the gaffer will point out exactly where he wasn't happy, where he thinks we should have worked on. And I think you'll just start to work towards that Monday, Tuesday on, and then try and implement what you should have done better on the weekend and what you're going to do this weekend. So there have been some tough words spoken earlier in the week, but now I'm sure they've just got that bit between their teeth now to get back and playing again.
In terms of kind of boost of confidence, if any were needed, Tomo, new contracts for Raul Jimenez and for Connor Cody this week. Arguably, perhaps the biggest deals that Wolves have done in this transfer market is to secure the future of two of their key, most important players.
Well, it's great to hear that Jimenez saying how welcome he's been at the club, how he's fitted in, how he's settled down, and he's enjoying his football. And we spoke a little bit off air about it, that he's the main man at the club. He's the main striker at the club. Why would he want to leave? So, he's enjoying it here. He's got a young family here now. And to be the star striker in the team as such, he's going to be that. He's going to sign those contracts. Connor Cody, exactly the same. He's enjoying life at Wolves, and why not? It's a great club. So, and players come here, so they get looked after. And as Kim was just touching on there, it wouldn't have been a nice time on Monday coming into the club, but that's football for you. That's what happens. That's what happens if you get a defeat, or the way that we did lose the game, that you expect that. And look, it's how you respond to it. It's the way you come back and make sure that you come out for the next game and you go out there and give it your all. But it's great news for the fans of the club to see that Jimenez has signed a new 4-year contract.
Looms, how much will it boost other people in the dressing room to see two of your most senior players saying, no, we are part of this journey for the next 3, 4, 5 years?
No, it's massive. It is. It's massive. I think there is a lot of speculation, and there's always going to be speculation when players are performing to the levels that certain individuals are in this squad. So no, not just for us, not for the fans, for the club. The players in the dressing room, it is massively important, and you'll see a lift just for the fact that it is. We've spoke to many individuals. Connor Cody, the captain, the leader, and he says about how united the group is. And they don't want to see anyone, even Ruben Vinagre leaving will hurt that squad, because there is such a great unity there. So it's important that like you say, Jimenez and that they've signed their contracts. But it also shows you that these players have really bought into this journey as well. Where Wolves want to be, where they want to get to. They've seen that the money that's getting spent on the new signings coming in as well. We're not at that top tier yet, but that's the ambition. We want to be regularly getting into the top 6, the top 4, and then you know what? You'll be looking at the 60 million, the 70 million pound players, and you're smiling in your face. But that is the ambition of the.
Well, no, I'm just thinking that we talk about not being at the top tier, and yet Carl Ikeme, we have signed long term England's new centre back. He's off again with England for the next couple of weeks, and I guess this time it feels proper. Last time he was called up because of injuries and people pulling out the squad. I thought he did brilliantly against Denmark, and now he's there truly on merit.
Exactly, mate. Like you said, he got the call up, which we've been calling for a long time anyway, and he's played, and you can't not call him up again now, and that's just the case of him. He's hopefully he'll be a part of the England squad for a long time. But just to go back to what Looms was saying as well, it's important for Codes, for Jimenez to sign his deals, and sort of what we're talking about just in general with the transfers. Like, the spine of the team is so important, and we know with Codes, Jimenez, once you start losing them sort of players, it becomes harder to replace them. Like, you're gonna find it hard to replace Jimenez and Codes at the minute in our side. So I think it's important that the club have signed them both to keep that continuity as well, because while will always be transfers and people coming and going, like, you also need them sort of core players that will stick along and have been there in the journey before and kind of know what the club's about, know what Nuno's about, know what the tactics are of the team. So I think that's just as big as the signings we brought in, and it's exciting to know that obviously you can't replace a goal scorer that easily like Jimenez, and it's exciting to know that he's going to be here for at least a short-term future, and it's going to help bring players in and help motivate us to keep pushing onto that next level. Because if you let players like Jimenez go, and codes go, then you start to question what are the ambitions of the team.
Yep.
And I think in securing them 2 members of the squad, I think it shows where Wolves are looking to be.
Well, Connor Cody, England's best centre-back, let's be honest, is one of the featured players on a special double edition programme that was made for both the Man City game and the Fulham game. You can order them online and get them in the club shop as well. And I'm reliably informed that from tomorrow, you can also get your hands on or start ordering the programme for the next 2 home games as well. Limited edition, collector's edition. Make sure you get your hands on that. Head to wolves.co.uk and head to the Wolves shop if you can do. Right, let's focus on the team for today then. We'll get that team sheet up for you in just a second, because there are some interesting talking points on it. We talked about the fact that there is no Ruben Vinagre. So Max Kilman coming in. It may be that he and Saiss end up swapping positions, but that's how it's expected to go from here on in. We'll get to Podence in just a second, but Tomo, first and foremost, that left wing back position for today is going to be really interesting to see whether it is Kilman, it is Saiss, and how they will go forward.
Yeah, it is. So look, I know that you've mentioned that Saiss is possibly going to be the one who plays in that left back position or at wide left. But it'd be interesting to see which one does play there. I thought that Saiss might stay in the back 3, but you've got a little bit more inside information than me.
Just the way that kind of they have gone in the past, and with Saiss being more of a midfielder, suggests to me that that's the way they might go. Yeah. But who knows?
But also as well, it gives us that little bit of height out on the wide area as well. So we always know that Connor Cody used to use Doherty as an outlet with his heading ability. Maybe he might be able to use one of those as well as an outball. Again, so look, it's going to be interesting to see the formation. He's brought Dendoncker back in. Podence has come back in after an injury, what was mentioned last week. But yeah, I think that we'll go out there today and they'll have the bit between the teeth. Well, I hope they will, because I say, like, they kind of backed off West Ham a lot of the time last week, allowed them too much time to play. Even though we had a lot of possession, we never really hurt them. So it'll be interesting to see what they actually do. But you can't imagine them not being up for the fight today.
Chris Iwelumo, you know that I've been desperate to get Dendoncker back in there. Massive fan of him. Big call to drop João Moutinho to the bench and bring Dendoncker in to start today.
Well, I don't think it is a big call, Mikey. That's the competition that we've got in this squad. You know, I think that's the quality that, when we want the manager to have headaches. And I think Moutinho has been outstanding, but I think Dendoncker gives you a presence, a physicality, that another dynamic to that midfield. He gets forward, he puts himself in areas that causes issues, but also creates space for other players. So I think it's like you say, it's a manager's decision, and it's one that I totally agree with. I think Dendoncker, fantastic player. I think Podence coming back in, I thought he was a massive loss, because again, with his quality, he can create something from nothing. The challenge that I know that Nuno's probably thrown down to Podence is, we need more goals from you. We know what you can bring. We know that you can create for others, but individually, you need to have that selfish streak as well, and take things on. We've seen Traore have more attempts at goal, because again, that's been thrown at him. This is something Nuno wants: more goals. I think Dendoncker brings goals. More goals than Moutinho, but the competition is the big question, and I think that's something that we have throughout. I agree with Tomo as well. I think having, if it's Saiss on the left or Kilman, it gives you that kind of that outlet. They've both got good energy. They'll both be up and down. They know that position. And I can see them probably swapping. As the game goes on, they're taking moments, and that's just an understanding and a relationship that they've got to build up. But again, the onus is on us. Fulham are newly promoted to the Premier League. They're really struggling to find their feet. They're conceding a lot of goals. We are favourites today by a country mile, but we have to go out there. And you know what? It's all about the result. I understand it. Get the 3 points on the board no matter what. But we're at the stage now that it's all about the performance as well. We want to do it in style. We want to win well. And that's something that it shows you where we are again as Wolves. But again, I'm looking at the team. I think Dendoncker coming in is probably the right decision. Neves as well. Again, I thought against West Ham and that Neves and Moutinho were dropping very deep to get the ball. When we've got the likes of Connor Cody that can advance, so when West Ham are going to put the two banks to break, it allows you to venture forwards and try and create space for others. And I just feel Dendoncker, with the presence that he's got, the physicality that he's got, the energy that he's got as well, because he's very mobile, he can cause all sorts of problems today.
He's one of those who can get into the box as well, can't he? So he's got an eye for a goal. He gives you that little bit more power in there as well, and bodies in the box, because we saw it a few games at Man City. We saw it at West Ham last week, where probably Neves and Moutinho, very similar players, sit there just in front of the back three lads and just move the ball around, where Dendoncker is somebody who'll get forward and try and get into the box, hopefully, to try and get a goal as well. I think that's the difference between the two.
We all love you too as well, Looms. Thanks for showing us that mug there.
I see your little smile there, Michael.
Carl Ikeme, talk to me about that right-hand side. Podence coming in for Traore, a home debut for Nelson Semedo. I mean, it's not quite going to be the home debut that many people would normally anticipate, but it's a new pairing down that side. I mean, it's a lovely issue to have, isn't it, when you can alternate between Podence and Traore?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think Podence has started to show his qualities, especially towards the end of last season and the start of this season. And obviously with Semedo coming in, we all know the sort of quality he brings as well. So I think it'd been exciting. It'd be exciting down that right hand side with Max coming in and then Dunker coming in as well. I think it maybe just secures us a little bit. Obviously we got pasted 4-0 last week, but let's not forget that as well. So maybe Nuno's thinking as well, okay, then let's be solid as well. But especially down that right-hand side, we've got a lot of pace, a lot of movement, and I do expect us to really sort of press Fulham down that side while trying to stay solid in the centre and trying to keep the pressure on them. But yeah, like I said, it really exciting down that right-hand side. Still got Traore on the bench to come off, so I expect them to really take the game to Fulham.
Yeah, it's there are options, aren't there, on the substitutes bench all of a sudden, where you kind of look and go, wow, they could really change it up in a number of different ways. Let's talk a little bit about Fulham as well. Then we can be joined on Matchday Live Extra by a man who played for both of these clubs, though we will always see him as one of the most important members of Wolverhampton Wanderers in the last decade. Forget that short spell at Fulham. It didn't really happen. We needed him back. We were desperate to get him back. It was glorious when he returned. Richard Stearman is on the line. Good to see you as ever, Steers. Fulham are in that kind of situation, aren't they, where they've had a real tough start to this new campaign, and they maybe will look at Wolves having had a difficult game last week and thinking that they kind of need to come here and maybe try and get something.
Hi, Mikey. You okay? Yeah, I completely agree. Fulham have got off to a terrible start, and they've conceded 3 goals in all of their games. They need to get off the mark. They need to start putting points on the board. It's looking pretty bad for them right now. So they're possibly looking at this fixture where they need to go out and get some points themselves. Their confidence must be so low right now. I'm reading things in the media. Their defence is taking a bit of a battering in the press. So. I certainly see this as a game for Wolves as well, where they can capitalise on the low confidence and hopefully pick up the 3 points.
Steels, how important is it? Like Scott Parker, I think he's new to management. He's got them promoted. He's done the job, but he's got to stick to his beliefs, hasn't he? He can't just, because as a football player, if you're in that group of players and he starts just parking the bus and going against his own philosophy, then there's weaknesses. You see the cracks under that. He has to be a strong manager, and if it is, he has to make sure that the players, they get better at doing what they do. They get better at doing the way that he wants to play football. But he can't shy away from that now. He's got to lay his cards on the table, hasn't he?
Of course, yeah, spot on. He's got to stick to his guns. He got promoted through playing a certain way and playing, like you say, the beliefs that he has in his philosophy. And they were superb at it last season. There's no getting away from that. And they deserve to be promoted in the brand of football they were playing. It's not quite happened for them so far, but there's little point in changing now. Maybe over the international break they could tweak a few things, but from game to game they've got to stick to what they know best. Go again, maybe shuffle the pack a little bit like they have done today, and they'll be looking, like I said, hopefully to pick up some points. Whereas Wolves will be looking to do the same.
Sorry, Tomo. I just wanted to ask about Ivan Cavallero, that element of the returning player. Obviously, he would have loved there to have been a crowd in. I'm sure he would have got a great response. Do you look at someone like him today and kind of go, he might just turn it on today and try and cause Wolves some real problems?
He's certainly got that in his locker, hasn't he? Ivan had a fantastic spell at Wolves, and he moved on now to Fulham, did well there, and it's certainly a game he'll be looking forward to. He'll be wanting to remind Wolverhampton why they bought him, why they invested in him, and what he did for the club. So he's certainly going to be a key figure today, along with the likes of maybe Alexander Mitrovic, who I think was probably the standout player, that certainly striker in the league last year in the Championship, and he's another player that I think in past meetings between the two clubs has certainly caused problems.
Yeah, I was just saying, how do you think Scott and the players will react to some of the stuff that's been said about the owner of the club, about the way that they've played in the last few games?
Yeah, I mean, it's not ideal, is it? I think if it was me, it would make me more determined to prove myself. So I know a few of those players. It's a tough one, isn't it? When you're getting criticism from all quarters, but they've lost 3 games and conceded 3 goals in each. So it's it's deserved, possibly, but they've got to be stand up and be counted now. They've got to fight for their place in the team and in the Premier League. So it'll be interesting to see how they sort of bounce back after the recent criticism.
One thing we wanted to ask you about as well, Max Kilman coming in. You know all about this, a kind of ball-playing young centre-half who, he made 11 appearances last season. He had some good opportunities in the Europa League. But how do you go about approaching a game like this today when you know that it might not be the one that gives you the run of 30, 40 games this year, but you've still got to produce on a big occasion?
Of course, you've got to be ready when called upon, whatever position it might be. I see he might be popping up at left wing back today. It's certainly something, in my time at Wolves, where I was asked to play several different positions. You've got to be ready. You don't want to let the team down. You want to show to the manager, hey, if I'm needed, I will play there. And going forward, if that means I get in the team again, at left wing back, at right side centre half, wherever it may be for him, that he's got to perform on the day, so that the manager knows he can trust him and throw him back in if needed.
Right. Prediction time, everybody. Obviously, we were miles out last week. Who knows what could happen this week? I'm going to go to Tomo first today.
I'm feeling confident today. 3-1 I'm going for Wolves.
You're always feeling confident, Tomo.
Can't help it, mate. Can't help it. Look where he got me last week.
Go on then, Carl Ikeme.
I'm going 2-0 today. I don't think it's going to be as easy as... I'm not saying that we're saying it will be an easy game today, but I think it's going to be tough. We didn't perform last week, and I feel like it's just going to be a great performance. Fulham are bang under pressure, let's be honest, from what's happened at the start of the season and this week, and they're not going to want to be too expansive. I can't see they coming there, and I know Scott's got his theory, and I know he'll stick to that theory as close as he can, but also he knows that Fulham need points, and they can't be battered again 3-0. So I fancy a close game, but I do think it'll be 2-0 Wolves.
Steers.
Yeah, I can't see past the Wolves win, to be honest. Raul Jimenez to celebrate his new contract. I fancy him for a goal. I fancy Mitrovic for a goal, but Wolves to edge it 2-1.
Chris Iwelumo.
Well, I think I'm confident for a win. I think the first goal's massive, isn't it? I think if Wolves get that first goal, I think Fulham could crumble. They've experienced a lot of conceding a lot of goals. So I'm going to go 3-0 plus. So 3-0, 4-0. I'm going comfortable victory.
Blimey. It's still early to have been drinking this time on a Sunday.
You don't know what's in that store, Mikey.
That's a Scottish in him, man. That's a Scottish in him.
What's yours, Mikey?
I'm going to go back to my usual prediction of 1-0. I think I agree with Keames. I think Fulham or try and keep it pretty tight. Memories of a really tight game here 2 seasons ago where it needed Leander Dendoncker to separate the teams. So maybe Leander Dendoncker to separate the teams again today. Who knows? Although if Steers is predicting people with new contracts get goals, maybe today's the day Connor Cody finally scores again.
Calm down.
Yeah, maybe I spent too much time with Chris Iwelumo in recent weeks. Richard Stearman, thank you very much indeed. Great to see you. Hopefully we'll see you
guys
with us on Matchday Live Extra very soon. More from Carl Ikeme and Chris Iwelumo to come, and Andy Thompson, of course. Don't go anywhere, because full, live, uninterrupted commentary is coming next, absolutely free, here on Wolves TV.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV, powered by Blight Group. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app. Wolves TV, Matchday Live, powered by Blight Group.
This season, the Old Goal Club and Wolves TV Matchday Live are powered by Blythe Group, an industry-leading construction company and family-run business since 1982, driving investment and infrastructure across the UK. Blythe Group's mission is to provide an unrivaled service based on innovative, bespoke building solutions and comprehensive customer support. If you're a skilled tradesperson and you want to join the team that powers our team, contact their bases in Wolverhampton, Manchester or Maidenhead via theblythegroup.co.uk. Blythe Group, big enough to deliver, small enough to care.
Wolves TV Matchday Live, powered by Blythe Group. Matchday Live on Wolves TV, powered by Blythe Group. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app. Wolves TV, Matchday Live, powered by Blythe Group.
So Fulham just making their way out here at Molineux. Wolves are in the tunnel, and we will be seeing them very shortly. Indeed. This is Wolves TV, Matchday Live Extra, back at the home of football. Fulham making their way down the steps, of course, still getting changed in the Sir Jack Hayward suite. Out of all the COVID restrictions, there is still an opportunity for Ivan Cavallero to greet some of the Wolves staff as they make their way out. That familiar grin on his face. Well, a week on from the worst defeat of Nuno's reign, but boosted by secured futures for captain Connor Cody and Raul Jimenez, a chance to get back to winning ways against a Fulham side who've lost their opening 3 games on their Premier League return, conceding 10 goals in the process. The Old Gold are unbeaten in their last 7 home games against newly promoted sides and are unbeaten in the last 12 here against Fulham, but the wild card could be Ivan Cavallero. 19 goals in 106 Wolves appearances. He makes his first return to the club, who gave him his chance in English football, perhaps with a point to prove. There is a home debut for Nelson Semedo. That's the big change that will come through from there. And hopefully we will see an impressive performance from him today. Andy Thompson alongside me as ever. What are your thoughts on the game ahead?
I still think it's going to be tough. I know. I think that, as Loom said there, the first goal is going to be the important bit. But I think that Wolves have got a lot to prove. I think for after last week, I think they'll be disappointed individually as a group. I know the management staff were upset about the way that we lost last week, and I'm sure they'll go out there today and got that little bit of bite about them, because that's what they're missing, and that's what we've come to like about the way that Wolves play, the way that they're getting people's faces to close it down and use the ball well. We didn't see that last week, and I just think that they're going to have to do that today.
Yeah, because I guess they're going to, this new Wolves way of playing, this new idea of having plenty of possession. Well, they know against this Fulham team they're going to have plenty of possession. They'll have been able to prepare for that all week to do so.
But you've got to try and hurt them. And that was the thing about last week. I don't really think we had much of an effort at the West Ham goal. And I think that was the disappointment about it. The amount of possession that we had, but never really hurt them. I think that's what they've got to do. They've got to try and break teams down. We've got the players out there. There's no doubt about it. We've got the players out there, but we've just got to make sure that we use the ball well.
Well, Wolves line out with Rui Patricio in goal, Willy Bolly, Connor Cody, and then either Max Kilman or Romain Saiz on the left of the back three, with whoever isn't on the back three playing as left wing back. Nelson Semedo, right wing back, Leander Dendoncker, Ruben Neves, and Pedro Neto, Daniel Podence, and Raul Jimenez all up top. Fulham with Alphonse Areola in goal, Ola Aina, Tim Ream, Maxime Lamarchon and Anthony Robinson. The back four, Andre Frank, Zambo Anguissa and Tom Kearney in midfield. Joe Bryan, Ivan Cavallero likely to be the wide players. And then Bobby de Cordova-Reid and Alexander Mitrovic up top. We are nearly ready to go. Fulham will get us started in their white shirts with black sleeves, white shorts and white socks. Wolves, gold shirts, black sleeves, black sock shorts and gold socks. Alexander Mitrovic stood over the ball and everybody will take the knee as ever. This so important message that continues to be sent around the world globally. All those who view Premier League football and enjoy it. Here we go. Mitrovic gets us started. And I can tell you that it does look like it is Max Kilman on the left of the back three at the minute, with Saiz up against Ivan Cavallero in the wing-back position. Wolves playing from right to left as we look at it first half, defending the Sir Jack Hayward south bank, attacking the Stankolis north bank. Steve Ballstand on the far side. Bully's been busy this week in a superb sit-down chat that he had with Raul Jimenez that you can check out on Wolves TV, wolves.co.uk, and of course all the links across the social media. Well, I did ask if there was going to be a translator would come in at some point. Not needed.
Not needed.
Raul's been around long enough. There is Tom Kearney for Fulham. The respective benches, by the way. Wolves with Ruddy, Kiana Hoover, Fabio Silva, Vitinha, Matinho, Traore and Oscar Burr back involved. Fulham with Marek Rodak, their goalkeeper, Michael Hector, Dennis Adoy, Neeskens Cabano, Stephanie Hansen, Adamola Lukman, who's come in this week from RB Leipzig, and Abubakar Kamara. And here is Saiz, and immediately Nuno and Rui Pedro Silva in deep discussion on the edge of their technical area.
They're probably discussing the way that they've set up as well. Fulham trying to go up against our back three. Mitrovic in that middle, Cavallero.
Does look like Fulham have gone with a back five, with Anthony Robinson kind of tucked in, Joe Bryan just ahead of him. They're kind of into a four now, but it seems like it will be pretty fluid.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to go like for like, aren't they, with the way that they're playing.
Here is Nelson Semedo back in field to Ruben Neves, just to the right of the centre circle, low across centre circle to Kilman, out to Neto, first time back to Romain Saiz, in field to Ruben Neves, low across to Willy Bolly, into Podence, who dropped short, back to Bolly, trying to find the feet here of Jimenez, who was loose with his pass. Semedo couldn't quite win it back, and in the end it's played backwards by Zambo Anguissa. Gets possession again from Kearney. And touch from de Cordova-Reid. Now Tim Ream. He seems to have had a good couple of games against Wolves in recent times. I remember him very impressive when Fulham beat Wolves in the promotion season towards the end of it, was about March time of that campaign, where Wolves just had a little wobble. You remember, Tomo? Yeah. Lost at Villa, lost at Fulham. Two main chasers at the time.
Well, that were they the form team at the time, Fulham. So like they were just beating everybody at the top. Through the way that the play just left it a little bit too late for us to catch us. But Yeah, they're a good side, so they like to play.
Oh, they've been the epitome of a yo-yo team in the last couple of seasons. Trying to maybe follow the example of Wolves and Sheffield United. As Ivan Cavallero on that right-hand side showed too much of it to Saiss, out of play for a Fulham throw.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting battle, isn't it, down that side with Saiss, with Cavallero.
Two players who know each other very well.
Yeah, well, now he's got a trick or two on Saiss.
Mitrovic was tackled. Here comes Bolly. I'll leave it for Dendoncker to take over, just to the right of the centre circle, up over the halfway line, trying to set Semedo away. It was cut out by Joe Bryan, but Podence, nice little back heel. Dendoncker takes it forwards, wide for Semedo, back in field to Podence, early towards Dendoncker, couldn't quite tee it up for Podence. Comes to Neves, who tries to lift it to the left-hand side of the box. Neto is there ahead of Ola Aina. First time cross from Saiss is deep. Dendoncker's headed back across goal, and Tim Ream has to head it high into the air and allow his goalkeeper to come and claim it.
Yeah, that was great play. Great balling by Saiss from this left-hand side. Dendoncker coming around that back pass. That's what we've spoken about him getting into the box, making up the bodies. He's just a bit unfortunate. You can see him holding his hands up there. If he just headed it back a little bit, Jimenez would have had the simplest of headers in open goal. But it's good play. So good play from Wolves there.
Because it is a subtle difference, isn't it? But when Dendoncker plays in there, Neves is holding in midfield, much like Moutinho did at Sheffield United, as Kilman is tracked all the way by Mitrovic and forced us to put the ball out of play for a Fulham throw deep in the Wolves half. But then it's effectively Dendoncker and Neto, and then a front two of Podence and Jimenez.
But we spoke about people getting up there and getting beyond defenders and pulling them about. If you've got people playing in front of you, they'll be happy just to stay where they are. Dendoncker gives you something different, where he does get in there, as he's shown there.
This is Anthony Robinson, though, for Fulham on the left-hand side, trying to drive into the penalty area. It's a good run, but it's his shot come cross straight into the arms of the waiting Rui Patricio. Wanted to throw it out quickly to Jimenez, who took it nicely on the thigh, but was just crowded out by too many Fulham players around him.
Yeah, that was the thing, wasn't he? So great little touch, but just as one player too many, just able to get the ball off him.
The early fixtures, by the way, finished Leicester 0, West Ham 3. Leicester did think they'd got at least one back late on, but it got ruled out. And Southampton 2, West Brom 0. It's a shame, that, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a long trip for them.
It's a shame, yeah. But also as well, just having a look at that Leicester result. So it just shows about West Ham that they can get back-to-back victories. And again, Leicester, who was the team flying at the time.
Arsenal and Sheffield United also taking place right now. Samuel Anguissa to Cavallero, to Kearney in the centre circle on halfway, to Ola Aina. Out to the right-hand side to De Cordova-Reid, who whips a cross in that straight into the arms of the waiting Rui Patricio again. Don't forget, as ever, you can get in touch and have your say. Join us on social media. Use the hashtag WolvesLive. At Mikey Burrows at Wolves. If you want to let us know where you are tuned in, your predictions, your thoughts. Kilman for Saiss. He's trying to play it up towards Jimenez, who couldn't quite get it under control again.
Just run under it a fraction, didn't he? It was just the wrong side of him to chest it down.
This is Pedro Neto. Saiss has passed that straight in field to Mitrovic. Cavallero, his back heel. Dendoncker intercepts. Neto over the halfway line. Ran into trouble. De Cordova-Reid grabbed it from him. Samuel Anguissa onto Cavallero. Up against Kilman towards the edge of the penalty area. Balled back to Andre Frank Zambo Anguissa. This is Robinson. Bryan looking to whip a dangerous cross in. Connor Cody got his head to it just outside the 6-yard box, and he followed up to clear it out of play for a throw over on the far side on the Fulham left. You can hear Connor Cody screaming at his teammates to push out. Ball has already gone out of play, and it'll be a Wolves throw on that right-hand side.
Yeah, so they're trying to find the feet at the moment, aren't they, Fulham? So trying to knock it around. Robinson down that left-hand side. Looks like he's somebody who wants to get forward, just going to need to be careful of it. But so at least Wolves are trying to play the game with a little bit of success. Just can't get Jimenez and Pedence into the game at the moment, but they still keep looking. They're just trying to probe away at him.
Nelson Semedo throwing backwards to Willy Bolly. Into Connor Cody, a couple of yards outside the D of his penalty area. First time to remain Saiz. Neto had set off down the line. It would go back infield to Ruben Neves, and now to Cody, middle of the half. Rolls his foot over the ball and then looks to play a long diagonal for the run of Pedro Neto. Neto almost, well, he would have got there, but he allowed Olaena to wrap a foot round and put it out of play for a throw.
Yeah, I spoke about that ball again. You know, Neto's quick. So he's refused to play that one seconds earlier there. So I'll just put it over there. What we're going to do, just knock it out for throwing. At least we're advanced into their bottom third.
Olaena actually did play against Wolves last year. He was part of the Torino team that Wolves knocked out of the Europa League playoff. He's played against Wolves previously as well. He was part of a whole team in Nuno's promotion year. He was on loan from Chelsea at the time. He's got experience of playing against Wolves. I think he got torn to bits by Brighton and Bakari in that whole game. Here is Olaena. Cavallero. Couple of step overs. Back to Tim Ream inside his own half. Infield to Lamarchand. Right to the left-hand side to Robinson. Back to Lamarchand. Closed down by Dendoncker. Went infield to Kearney. Across to Ream. Space to try and bring it up towards the halfway line. Aina on the right-hand side, 10 yards over halfway. Back to Anguissa. Kearney. Lamarchand. Fulham seeing plenty of the ball in this little stage. Robinson looking to try and run. Jimenez had tracked him a long way. Pulling it back infield. And Dendoncker was there to help tidy up. And Neves tried to let it run for Jimenez, just too much on that pass.
Yeah, just overhit, wasn't it? You could see what he was trying to do. Neves just stepped over it. Just a little bit too much pace on the ball. But they're having a go at it, aren't they, Fulham? They're having a go. They're trying to play the way out of it.
Big hello to Mark, listening while standing in the rain, watching his son's under-15 match. Hashtag multitasking. Areola out of his penalty area to clear to halfway. Mitrovic climbed over everybody to flick it on. Here's Saiz on the left-hand side for Wolves. Back to Kilman. Infield to Connor Cody. Dendoncker taking over. Max Kilman again. Wide for Pedence. Down the line for the run of Neto. He's drawn Ream out of position. Neto thought about a low cross. It was blocked off by Ream, but it will be a Wolves corner.
I'll tell you what, there's a great ball from Kilman initially to Pedence. Great touch, just killed it. And then just played that ball down to Neto. And I think that's what we've got to try. We've got to try and get Pedence into the game. He hasn't really done anything this first 11 minutes or so. It was all about the ball into him from Kilman.
Pedro Neto with the corner. Left-footed from the left-hand side. Saiz, Bolly, Kilman and Jimenez are all in a line just beyond the penalty spot. Jimenez breaking to the near post. Bolly nearly got there. Saiz got a touch to it. Comes back out to Neto. Neto trying to go on his left foot, delivers his cross in. Didn't quite beat the man at the near post. And Mitrovic just hoofs it downfield. Came down with snow on it. Neves to Bolly to Cody, right hand side of the centre circle. Make no mistake of what Mitrovic was trying to do there. Neves' ball. Saiz is still forwards here. Left hand side of the box. Jimenez left it, thinking Pedence was right behind him, and he was a little bit further away than he actually was. And that meant that Fulham were able to get the numbers in to intercept.
So he did brilliant there. Saiz did it with his little touch, little flick. You could see he's playing inside, but Jimenez just thought Pedence was a little bit closer to him.
Dendoncker infield to Pedence. Across the centre circle for Jimenez. Pedence just ahead of him. Ball took a little deflection off Kearney. He's got history here as well. Scored an unbelievable goal in that 4-4 game a few years back.
Yeah. Don't know if we could take it to the fourth.
Well, I wouldn't rule it out. The way the Premier League has been this year.
Oh, no, there's been goals, haven't they?
And some crazy score lines. Wolves last week included. Say, West Ham have gone to Leicester today and won 3-0. Just shows you. West Ham had lost their opening couple of games. Brilliantly unpredictable, this Premier League.
Yeah, that's why you love it. You never know. You never know what's going to happen from week in, can you? The way that they play, results.
Maybe that as Pedence tried to flick it again. Again, he and Jimenez just a bit too far apart for that kind of speed of play. De Cordova-Reid trying to work it forwards. Bolly's initial clearance. Mitrovic. Cavallero. It was a late challenge on Mitrovic. Fulham free kick. Couple of yards past the centre circle.
Yeah, I think that was Saiss on him. It was there just to nick, I think, and he just put his foot out, Saiss.
Played quarter of an hour. Wolves 0, Fulham 0. Not a huge amount in it just yet. Hopefully more from Wolves to come. Well, Aina has stood over the free kick. Wolves trying to hold their defensive line. A couple of yards ahead of the D. Aina will try and whip it towards Cavallero on the right-hand side, who is tracked out wide by Neto. Ball played back infield to Kearney. Now for Aina again. Trying to go on the outside of Pedence, whips his cross in. It came off Cody's head and flashed through the penalty area. Picked up by Anthony Robinson. Infield to Anguissa. Closed down by Dendoncker and Neves coming away with the ball. Anguissa got back to him and they're able to tidy up again.
Yeah, he just needed an option quickly, didn't he, Neves, because he was getting hunted down by the two Fulham players. So he just needed something that he could play.
Aina for Cavallero. To Ola Aina. Tim Ream. So we talked beforehand about having a lot of possession. It's actually Fulham who are just edging the possession stats at the moment. Robinson's ball over the top for Brian. Bolly there first, and he's got support from Romain Saiss, who's switched with Semedo for the time being. I'm sure that it was only from the free kick,
Yeah,
and they will switch back over now.
Yeah, it was from the free kick. So he got stuck out there.
Helen is watching in a damp Luton with son Ethan, gone for a 2-1 win. Auntie P on the Shifnal sofa with Big Bro Steve having consumed a full Monty lamb roast. If the boys can put on a performance like my Yorkshire puds, we're in for a treat. Hi to James in Marseille, who's desperate for a Yorkie and a Jimenez hat-trick. Kilman. Oh, played a long ball over the top, and both Pedence and Neto had come short.
But they were both threatening to go beyond the back line of Fulham. And I say 2 or 3 times that they kept going and coming back, and the final one there, he's decided that he's going to play it to one of them, and neither of them went.
Robinson back to Le Marchand. Loose one by Le Marchand. It was between Ream and Aina. Aina having to race back deep in his own half to keep the ball in on the Fulham right-hand touchline. Anguissa has come short for it. Dendoncker was closing in. Kearney wide, and Aina able to bring it up towards halfway. Passed it straight to Kilman, whose clearance goes to Kearney on the halfway line. Wide left for Anthony Robinson. Looking to drive deep into the Wolves' half again. He takes a tumble from the challenge of Nelson Semedo. There's this element, Tomo, of Fulham playing 2 left-backs as to whether they actually were preparing for Adama Traore and have found themselves now trying to use it in an attacking sense instead of defensive.
Yeah, well, it is. Well, Robinson looks like he's willing to run past or get at the back line of Wolves, so you can see down there, and Brian always wants to go down there, left-hand side. So, yeah, at the minute, it's working for them, but yeah, they probably were worried about Traore playing.
Fulham free kick out on that left-hand touchline, couple of yards infield from it. Pedence is a one-man wall just outside the penalty area. The rest of the Wolves players lined up just about on the penalty spot in line with it. Fulham have got some men forwards from the back. It's left-footed, whipped in dangerously, bouncing around the penalty area, and it's Kilman who gets the ball away. difficult to deal with. Saiss having to track back deep in his own half under pressure from Anguissa. It's a tricky period, this, with 18 minutes played. Aina, Kearney, back to Olaina, right-hand side, 40 yards from goal, blocked off by Saiss, out of play for a throw. That two left-backs thing, our producer Yanni pointing out that West Ham did it last week with Masuaku and Cresswell. There's Mitrovic. Jimenez had tracked him all the way. Kilman, the touch to it, comes all the way through. Semedo's header to the edge of the box, Dendoncker clear. Jimenez with a flick on. Podence couldn't quite grab hold of it though, and it's not quite sticking in the advanced areas for Wolves at the minute.
Well, we can't get him in the game, can we, the front line at the minute?
Good defending by Bolly, who tracked the run of Robinson. Early pass to Podence, to Dendoncker. Infield to Neves. Neto has set off, and Neves finds him with a low pass to his feet over the halfway line. Uses support from Saiss. Infield to Neves. Almost got free roll to orchestrate things. And he's trotting over towards Willy Bolly, who's in possession. Takes it from him. It's to the right of the centre circle, over halfway. Semedo had made a run, but Neves apologises. He couldn't quite find him. Neto in possession. Wide to the left-hand side to Saiss. Podence had made the run ahead, but it was blocked off, so he goes back to Cody. Cody now trying the big diagonal towards Dendoncker. Semedo round the outside behind him, just outside the penalty area. Got support from Raul Jimenez, who's trying to cut in field. Trying to scoop it far side of the penalty area for Neto. Awkward bounce. Neto just about kept it in.
Did brilliant there, didn't he?
Here's Neves to Willy Bolly. Out to the right-hand side to Semedo. Dendoncker making a run down the line. Semedo looking in field to Neves. He's got Kilman just to his left. He finds the feet of Neto. Neto will use Kilman, who first time will play it out to the feet of Saiss on the left-hand touchline. 30 yards from goal. Back in field to Kilman. Now to Neves. This is Wolves' turn now to make Fulham move across field. Probing, trying to find that gap. Neves to Dendoncker, to Bolly. Fulham have got everybody back behind the ball. This is where patience plays its part. Kilman for Saiss. Into Podence. First time from him for the run of Neto, who will get to the byline, tries to stand his cross up, too much on it. Semedo is there though. Takes it back out to the right-hand touchline, and Wolves will just try again. Neves. Little deflection on his cross from Dick Cordova-Reid, and Fulham able to win possession back for what feels like the first time in a good couple of minutes.
It was a better spell from them, wasn't it? You can see that Fulham are bringing everybody back. They've just got to, if you can just pick out a runner, there was plenty of it going on. We just didn't want to pass that ball. But again, it's some good place. You've got to be patient with the way that we play. But we do need to get the two front lads into it. Podence and Jimenez a little bit more for me. Got to try and get them in that goal.
21 and a half minutes played at Molineux. Wolves 0, Fulham 0. Marchand to the left-hand side to Robinson, who miscontrols. It'll be a Wolves throw just over halfway. Big hello to Mark Shipley, listening while at work. Come on, me babbies. Harry Dalton, come on, you Wolves, from the Dalton family, listening from Brisbane, Australia. Good day. Here's Connor Cody.
What are you giggling at?
Just the reaction of our producer, shaking his head in despair, as he often does on this programme.
That's all the time to you, isn't it?
Yes, Ruben Neves to Romain Saiss. Wide to Pedro Neto, left-hand side, midway inside the Fulham half. Back to the halfway line to Kilman. Connor Cody. Now to Dendoncker. Jimenez is short. Podence the most advanced man. It goes wide to Semedo.
Tell you what, Fulham are leaving nothing to chance, are they? They've got everybody behind the ball. At 20, 25 yards in their own half, everybody.
5-3-2 is how they're set up defensively. Here's Neves. Now to Willy Bolly. This is maybe a little bit more what we expected from this game. Saiz to Jimenez, and he knows it. He was trying to play a little first-time flick into Podence, and it hit his right leg and then hit his left leg.
Yeah, just hit his knees, isn't it, as he's tried to do it.
There's Kilman. And tracks the ball back in his own half. Cody with an early one. Semedo has set off on an excellent run. What a good take as well by Nelson Semedo. Just outside the edge of the penalty area for Neto. Neto trying to whip a little cross in, and it'll be headed away by Robinson for a Wolves corner. What an excellent spot that was by Cody. And super take by Nelson Semedo. There's a little glimpse of what's drawn Wolves to bring him in.
Well, it is, but that's been on a few times already. And then this left-hand side with Neto running beyond. Just got to try and get Podence involved in it. But yeah, great run from Semedo. Great take to start with, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. Jimenez would have been up to offside from that Neto cross. So Fulham will feel a little hard done by if Wolves punish them from this set piece. Kilman and Anguissa in the 6-yard box. Anguissa shoving Kilman. This is different from Wolves, by the way. Normally they're in a line on the penalty spot. Kilman, Bolly, Jimenez, Saiz, and Dendoncker are all in the 6-yard box.
But I think that if you're doing that...
8 Fulham defenders around them and the goalkeeper.
Yeah, just put pressure on, put it in the right area.
It's Podence right-footed from the left-hand side, and it hangs high and it's easily taken by the goalkeeper.
Yeah, that's where somebody's got to try and block the keeper off a little bit, isn't it? Just stand in his way so he can't come out and take that.
Kind of like at least one to be running onto the ball.
Yeah, but he just needs somebody to block his run so he can't come off his line as such. Just to stand in front of him, so it just blocks him off a little bit without fouling him.
Good header by Cody. Got a sore one, but he found Saiz. Saiz's pass evaded a couple of people, and Anthony Robinson actually wanted to leave that. And it got a little touch on him.
I think he had a shout to leave it. I think somebody shouted him because he went to get it and then just leaned back and let it come straight across him.
The referee, Darren England, who was right on top of it, gave Wolves the throw. So he cycled to the left-hand side. Saiz back into the centre circle for Neves. Now to Bolly, 10 yards to his right. Jimenez has dropped deep on the right-hand side again. He'll just leave it for Semedo. Back down the line for Jimenez. Then Donker's there with him. Trying to play it backwards to Semedo. There was a foot in. It is still a Wolves throw. Semedo for Bolly. Backwards to Cody. Feels like a completely different game to the one we were watching in the opening 15 minutes or so. Here's Podence on the turn. 30 yards from goal. A little bit closer now. Couldn't find Raul Jimenez with his flick in field. Saiz winning it back though. Neto to the edge of the area. Striking low. Good save. Semedo to follow it up. And somehow Areola has got something to it and put it behind for a corner. What an opportunity for a goal on his home debut for Nelson Semedo. And Fulham have their goalkeeper to thank. What a let-off that's turned out to be.
Oh, I'll tell you what two great saves. Because Neto's was a great save on its own, but to get up to for Semedo's shot, oh.
Right foot of Pedro Neto.
Oh,
and
dear.
then just his back arm, really, of Areola to deny Nelson Semedo.
Well, he's had to get off the floor very quickly, hasn't he?
Neto with a short corner to Semedo. One touch. Now whipping it to the far post. Dendoncker heading it in there. Bolly tried to get something on it, but under too much pressure by Mitrovic. And the ball looped in the air and Areola managed to grab it.
Well, if you think about that there, the ball into Podence, where he's in that little pocket, that's where we need him.
Yeah.
That's where we need him to receive that ball. Just in between the midfield and the back line of Fulham. And all of a sudden you're causing them problems and you got the two efforts at goal.
Well, I mentioned that a couple of minutes ago that Fulham were dominating possession. It's completely turned around now. Wolves are up to 54% and growing. Still not enough efforts on goal. Started to change that. Kilman looked like good strength on Cavallero. Referee didn't agree.
I think he's backing into him a little bit as well, Cavallero.
Wolves with a 90% pass success rate so far. So when they are having the ball, they are generally finding a teammate 9 times out of 10. Quick maths from me.
I was going to say it's brilliant, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Brilliant.
Greaser back to Ream. 28 minutes
all
played.
all that research is paying off, mate, I tell you.
There's Robinson up to halfway. Cordova Reed backwards to Lamarchon. Maybe Fulham's turn to have a little bit of control of the game. Scott Parker was fuming that they gave up such a good opportunity. Semedo has read the play though superbly, wins possession. Dendoncker sliding in. And Semedo again winning it on the far touchline. He's really growing into this in the last couple of minutes, Nelson Semedo.
But that's what we need to be. We need to be on the front foot. We need to be looking to nick the ball in the Fulham's half. It makes it so easier, I should say, to get opportunities to get in the Fulham goal if you're winning it that high at the pitch. It's a good play from him.
And he's debuted last weekend, of course, having only really been around the group for a day or two. But having had a full week now, you're getting to see the benefits of learning the system, learning the way of playing. You've come from Barcelona, and generally the way of playing is give it to Messi.
So he's took a backward step, really, then, hasn't he? Going to Wolves.
Well, you say that, Tom. Oh, I wouldn't.
Wolves.
He gets to play with Romain Saiss.
That's what I meant. Wolves are the better team, mate.
Yeah, so it's a forward step coming to Wolves.
That's what I mean. I'm backward step from Barcelona, I mean.
No, still a forward step from Barcelona.
I know what I mean.
Tomo's a school teacher. Goodness me.
You confused me with all your stats earlier.
Saiss throwing it short to Jimenez. Early cross from Saiss. No one really in the penalty area, though. Comfortable take for the keeper. Here comes Anthony Robinson. Tracked all the way by Dendoncker.
Yeah, they've looked a lot better on the ball than the Wolves in this last 10 minutes or so.
Certainly going forward.
Yeah.
Or backward in Tomo's case. Cavallero. Backwards to Ream. Rocking chair Dave joining in from Newport, Wales. So first time I've seen us play, hoping, praying for better all-round performance. Any win will do. Anthony Robinson at pace over the halfway line down the Fulham left, and now to run an awful long way. Found Bryant trying to turn away from Neves, looking to run at Semedo. Just enough of a foot in. Pedent's got a whack in the face, and Wolves get a free kick. Big hello to David Roll, listening in Parkville, Missouri. As the fog lifts, wants it to lift to give Wolves a 2-0 victory. Christina's gone for 2-1 Wolves. Lucky scarf is on in Wisconsin. Rob in a dark and chilly Calgary. Hoping last week was a kick up the backside for the team. A dose of realism for us fans. Still a work in progress, hoping for 2-0. And really to make you jealous, Ibiza Wolves tuned in from poolside in Ibiza. Come on, me babbies.
Not bad, is it? Not bad.
It's freezing cold here. Jimenez up against Ola Aina. Will settle for a throw. Just past the midway point of the Fulham half. 31.5 minutes played. There's Ruben Neves trying to pick out the run of Semedo. Lovely ball. Semedo brought it down superbly as well. Support from Dendoncker. Lifts his cross in. Jimenez got his head to it, looping, but onto the roof of the net. He wanted the corner. He'll end up only conceding a goal kick.
Yeah, great spot again from Neves, wasn't it? Semedo, already you've seen him going down that right-hand side. He's making those runs. And that we spoke about it before, about look, if somebody does a run, then we've got people in the team who can actually pick that pass out, and that's what we're looking at. He's done it about 3 or 4 times already.
Lamarchon to the left-hand side to Robinson, just short of the halfway line. Infield to Anguissa. De Cordova-Reid. Kearney. Wide left again to Robinson over the halfway line. Comes the Fulham left back. Crossing early. Kilman ahead of Mitrovic to head the ball clear. Kearney for De Cordova-Reid. To the right-hand side to Aina. Back infield to De Cordova-Reid. Tracked by Neves. Forced back to Ream. We're under pressure from Jimenez. Goes all the way back to the goalkeeper on the edge of the box.
It's good work. Good work. Putting pressure on them, forcing them all the way back to the goalkeeper.
Mark says he's with you, Tomo. He knows what you mean.
Oh, I knew what I meant. Thank you, Mark.
Aina with a throw down the line. Mitrovic being held up by Kilman. Aina will go out of play for a Wolves throw. Iwelumo says, so glad to see the pocket rocket Pedence back. He's wearing a new third kit top. Really need to push on, hoping for a 2-0 win to the boys. That's been pretty popular, that third kit. AKA the Portugal shirt. I'm a big fan of the away kit, you know. I am.
What, the white and the blue splashes on it?
Yeah. Sharp. You wouldn't get it, Tomo.
No, clearly not. Portugal shirt's a nice one, though, isn't it?
Lovely.
Yeah.
Saiz infield to Neto. Neto looking to dribble away from a couple. And he got to the edge of the penalty area and he took a tumble. And Nuno amongst those asking the question as to whether there was a foul in there. Referee Darren England wasn't interested. Cavallero to the left-hand side to Robinson, racing up at pace. Held up by Dendoncker and Neves. Strong play by Dendoncker.
Oh,
Neves then caught really late.
Well, you've just saw an example of why Dendoncker's in there. Just the presence, the strength of him. He can get up and down the field. That was just to stop Robinson coming inside there.
Neves just caught late by a barreling Alexander Mitrovic, who has a bit of history against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Might have been against Keames, you know. Should have been sent off for Newcastle, I think. I need to check that. Do you remember the game? Newcastle won 1-0, I think, and he actually scored. And he went scything through on the Wolves keeper. It might have been Keames. Check it in a minute. I would say we'd ask Keames at half time, but he won't remember.
He might do.
35 and a half minutes played. Wolves 0, Fulham 0. Aina with a throw. Deep inside his own half. It was Keames.
You just found it?
Yeah. February 2017. There you go, I knew it was.
You happy now?
Yeah.
That's right then.
Aina, Kearney, back to Aina, over the halfway line. Neto trying to track him. Just a nudge on him, free kick given. Wolves had a really good spell for a good 10-15 minutes, but Fulham, having weathered it, and with two massive saves from the goalkeeper Areola to deny Neto, and then the follow-up to Semedo, just growing back into this. Kilman blocking across with his chest, cleared away by Saiz, and Guisa forwards. Good challenge again by Neves, and an excellent early pass to Pedence. Over the halfway line he comes. It's got Semedo wide. Here's Nelson Semedo. Back in field to Ruben Neves. Neves trying to switch the play. Aina had gone down inside the Wolves half, and Wolves are going to end up getting a corner here as it hit the back of Bobby de Cordova-Reid. And we'll just stop the play. Referee will allow treatment to come to Aina.
He's holding the back of his neck, isn't he?
I think it was,
just
Saiz tried to leapfrog him and ended up landing on him.
Yeah, he tried to get out the way of him, didn't he? Just caught him on the back of the neck.
Like a whole playground game, Romain Saiz trying to jump over the top of him. Not entirely sure why either. Neto with a corner, left-footed from the left-hand side. Need to whip it into the near post. Jimenez's flick, it flashes through the 6-yard box. Nobody had quite gambled on that and followed it in. If they had done, they would have had a tap in. Semedo's left-footed cross headed away by Mitrovic at the near post, and it'll be a Wolves throw on the far side.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if the keeper's actually got a hand to that. From the Jimenez flick. Just watching the replay again. No. Just come across him. It's a shame that we just didn't have somebody following up at the back post, though.
It was cheeky from Raul Jimenez. Just needed someone to gamble. Saiz. Across to Kilman. 5 yards over halfway to Neto. Wide to Podence. Lovely turn by Podence, trying to set Neto away down the line. And Guisa sliding in, took the ball, took the man, took everything. It's applauded by his own subs. Yeah, Neto's been left in a heap on the floor.
Yeah, great little bit of skill by Podence down this left-hand side, though. I think his Aina coming flying in. He just like rolled it right round him.
That was a sore landing for Pedro Neto.
Yeah, just watching that flick again. Yeah, just needed somebody on the back post, didn't we?
39 minutes played. Dendonka's touch from the throw. Neto managed to spin his man outside of his left foot cross, but Semedo had come in field, so nobody there to follow it in. Just approaching that final 5 minutes of the half. Still 0-0. Adama Traore, by the way, has had a new haircut as he's heading out to warm up. The long blonde look has gone. There's Tim Ream. Lamarchon, closed down by Jimenez. Kearney, wide for Robinson. Need to run over the halfway line at speed again. Dendonka tracking with him. Leaves it for Bryan, down the line. Cavallero just holding off Bolly. Back in field to Kearney. Switches on for Fulham. To this right-hand side to Olorena. Saiz going out to close him down. Down the line for De Cordova-Reid. Flicked in field to Olorena again. Podence couldn't quite steal it. Kearney. They'll go left this time. This is Bryan. Back to Robinson. Infield to Kearney. 25 yards from goal. Blocked off by Neves as he tried to slide the ball through for the run of Cavallero. Early cross in. Cody chesting down. Bolly. No nonsense. Turning and hooking the ball clear. And a heavy touch by Robinson. Semedo bringing it down and then looping one into the middle of the half. And Guisa too strong for Pedro Neto. Fulham have it back again. Kearney. Wide to the left-hand side to Bryan. Trying to feed it on. A little run down the left-hand side by Cavallero. Cross comes all the way through the penalty area. Neto being forced backwards by Olorena to his corner flag. Clearance only as far as Ream. Tricky patch this. Wolves are just chasing at the minute. Bryan again on the left-hand side. Early cross. Mitrovic's flick behind everybody and Patricio chasing. We'll see it out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, so fortunate that the ball was just behind Mitrovic, wasn't it? When ball in from Bryan. But again, it's just that work, what they do on the training ground, where they've got to follow the ball, where they've got to try and shadow people. They didn't quite get it. Again, Fulham trying to insert a little bit more pressure on Wolves.
Here's Cody for Dendonka. Semedo over the halfway line, back into his own half to the right of the centre circle to Neves. Low across it for Saiz. Wide out to Neto on the left-hand side. Back to Neves, left-hand side of the centre circle this time. Early ball trying to spot the run of Dendonka. Ball might drop to the edge of the box. It was just too high for Semedo. Bryan put his foot through it and cleared to halfway. Bolly's header forwards. And Guisa bringing it down. Tracked by Dendonka. Goes backwards to Olorena.
So it's just unlucky there, wasn't he, Dendonka? Just wasn't enough on the pass for it just to come through. But again, that's them runs that he does from deep, trying to get picked out.
Yeah, nice idea.
Yeah, but he's done it a few times already, hasn't he? He's always willing to get into the opposition's penalty area.
Aina's ball forwards, long straight one. Cody beating Mitrovic. And then De Cordova-Reid just got there ahead of Kilman. And we'll get the free kick out on the right-hand touchline for Fulham. Kilman's protesting, but I'm not sure entirely why. And this is, just over 10 yards from the right-hand corner flag. A couple of yards in from the touchline. Last 2 minutes of the first 45. Cavallero and Bryan are the two stood over the ball. Cavallero, the right footer, Bryan, the left. Wolves got everybody back defending. Pedence one-man wall. Neto trying to stop a short one to Ola Aina. It's Cavallero, right-footed, who lifts it into the danger zone. Bolly's header actually might have hit Mitrovic and gone backwards, and thankfully Semedo was alert enough to clear. Neves to bring it down. A little bit loose from him forwards, though.
Yeah, it
Wolves
just needs
conceding possession a bit too easily.
Yeah, it just needs to be a little bit sharper there, didn't he, Neves?
There's Cavallero on the right-hand side, onto his left foot, low cross in. Cody's blocked to Neves, who controlled it and then launched it clear. Lamarchand fouled by Jimenez on the halfway line. Yeah, just a few times when Wolves players have had possession deep in their own half and maybe take a little bit more care over the ball forwards.
Yeah, just needs to be a little bit sharper with it. So he's got caught a couple of times. He's done brilliant initially to win the ball, but just got caught.
Cavallero wide to Kearney. And hold off Semedo and Neto. Aina's ball from in deep will go all the way through for a goal kick, and Semedo and Saiz can swap over again.
Yeah. Just jogging over.
Joshua taking the kick short to Kilman. Last 10 seconds of the 45. Like to see how much time Mike Dean, the fourth official, will add on. And the answer is nothing.
Nothing.
There's a rarity.
It is.
Literally not a single second being added on at the end of the first half that saw both teams have some fairly lengthy spells of possession. Wolves' best chances fell two in a matter of seconds. Pedro Neto strike from the edge of the box, parried by Areola into the path of Nelson Semedo, but the Fulham keeper jumped up and just got something onto Semedo's touch to send it behind for a corner. There's been one or two moments where Wolves have got themselves into decent areas but haven't quite had the numbers in the penalty area to cause Fulham too many problems. Fulham, plenty of the ball, plenty of racing down in wide areas, but they too haven't really tested Rui Patricio, and honours even at the break.
Yeah, it is. So like probably Wolves have just edged it with the chances. But so again, for me, I think that we've got to try and get Pedence on the ball a lot more. You can see that Jimenez got a little bit frustrated, started to come a little bit deeper. Sometimes going out wide as well. I'd still like him just to stay in that central position. And if we could just feed off him there. So, but look, Neto's done okay down this left-hand side. But I'm sure that Wolves will say, well, clean sheet still, but they've defended well. They've kept Fulham at bay. But I just still would like to see a little bit more from the front boys.
Hopefully there is more to come in the second period. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a very short break, and then we'll get the thoughts of Andy Thompson, Chris Iwelumo and Carl Ikeme.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV, powered by Blythe Group. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app. Wolves TV, Matchday Live, powered by Blythe Group.
This season, the Old Gold Club and Wolves TV Matchday Live are powered by Blythe Group, an industry-leading construction company and family-run business since 1982, driving investment and infrastructure across the UK. Blythe Group's mission is to provide an unrivaled service based on innovative, bespoke building solutions and comprehensive customer support. If you're a skilled tradesperson and you want to join the team that powers our team, contact their bases in Wolverhampton, Manchester or Maidenhead via theblythegroup.co.uk. Blythe Group, big enough to deliver, small enough to care.
Wolves TV Matchday Live, powered powered by Blythe Group.
So half-time here at Molineux, and it's Wolves 0, Fulham 0. Hopefully a little bit more to come in the second period. Let's get the thoughts of our at-home pundits. Chris Iwelumo, what did you make of that opening 45?
Well, I think it's been a great half of football, hasn't it? You know, I've really enjoyed it. You know, I think a few chances. I've got to agree with Tomo as well. You know, I think a little bit frustrating. You know, I think the service that's going up to Jimenez, you can see that he's seen very little of the ball, so he's dropping deep. I think Pedence, you know, you little moments. Semedo should probably have a goal. I think it's a fantastic save from Areola, isn't it? You know, he's come out and he's lucky as well, but he's just made it a fantastic save. It's came on the underside and then went over the bar. Fulham play football. They try and play nice football. They try and be on the front foot. I think it's they've shown Wolves a lot of respect. As you said in your commentary, they've played two left backs. Something that was very evident that West Ham had done because the fear of Traore. He's not playing, but again, Joe Bryan, you know, they got him from Bristol City. He's a fantastic forward, good winger, energy going forward. But defensively, he's sound as well. So it's just one of them. I think, like I said to you, the first goal is so important. You know, I think if Wolves can start and dictate, because they've seen a lot of the ball, and I think some of the play has been excellent. If they can get that goal, then it's a real test of the character of Fulham.
Carl Ikeme, it is that thing, isn't it? First goal. Wolves probably will feel like they should have had it, but from a goalkeeper's point of view, got to give massive credit to Areola there.
Yeah, Areola made a great save initially. Probably didn't get the ball into an area he wanted to get it in, but quick off his line. This is what we do every day: working, getting up quick, making a reaction from a slight error, and made a great save. But yeah, just to sort of go back on the half, it's been a tight half. Wolves have probably just edged it, but I still don't feel like we've got that flow yet. That we're not in the rhythm of playing, and I know Fulham are probably trying to do a job on Wolves today. As you said, they've seen what happened last week at West Ham, put the two full-backs on, playing down the left-hand side, and we need to work this just jigsaw out. It's going to be tight at times, but like we said, we need maybe a moment of magic from Pedence, Neto, just to get on the half turn when these tight balls keep coming into them.
Keems, can I ask you, like Fulham, they play a zonal defence for, you know, from corners and things. You know, as a goalkeeper, when you're playing, so Nuno's a goalkeeper, so when he's actually playing against that, how can we capitalise on that? Because I'm not a fan of zonal defending. You've seen the little flick from Jimenez with the outside of his right foot, and someone, I think Pedence probably should have been going round the back, and it's a tap in, isn't it? So yeah, you can really capitalise and take advantage of a team that sets up like that, can't you?
Yeah, definitely. I think you can, like they tried to do originally, I think, but put Jimenez in the near post. I think you drag it out in zonal marking. You always try and defend the goal area, maybe 6 men across between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot. So I think maybe by delivering balls outside of that initial zone and getting seconds, I think that might be the way to capitalise on it. But you know yourself that you've been in zonal marking and you've attacked it yourself. You just sometimes need a good delivery just to attack, because from a standing jump it's difficult, isn't it?
Exactly.
At times, and I think that's where Wolves can look to capitalise on that.
Tomo, Wolves had a really good spell in the middle of the half, a good 10-15 minutes. It's always that way where we talk about scoring when you're on top, and they didn't quite manage to do so, and then it allowed Fulham to grow back into it.
Yeah, so look, they needed to score for me, so Semedo had great save from the keeper. But just for me, they've just got to keep going and just got to make sure that they don't get frustrated, because you can see it with Jimenez. He's starting to come a little bit deeper, or he's going out wide. Pedence, if we can get him in the ball and then little pockets, I mentioned it in commentary, all of a sudden it just opens up Fulham's defence. And all of a sudden they've got problems with runners coming off at Neto. They've got Semedo down that right-hand side. That's what they've got to do. And also, as we've seen a few times, the passing from Neves and Connor Cody, the diagonal for Semedo to get him down that right-hand side. That's what they've got to keep doing. And we touched on it before the game about Dendoncker getting into that penalty area, being an extra man in there. And again, we've got to do a little bit more of that for me. So I think that we've just got to be little bit more courageous when we're going forward, take a little bit more of a gamble. Because I think that if we do take more of a gamble, i.e. getting Dendoncker in there, Pedance around that penalty area as well, I think that it'll cause Fulham more problems.
Tomo, it's just what you said. You said, like you said that Jimenez is dropping deep. If Jimenez stays and tries to kind of stretch the pitch for us and be that outlet and furthest man away, as a fullback as well, it creates more space for you to play into. It's the likes of Neto, Dendoncker, Pedence. It creates that space for them as well, but they're actually getting in each other's way, and it's making that space a little bit tighter when Jimenez drops, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah. But also as well, the lads at the back of Fulham are quite happy for him to keep dropping down into that midfield area as well. So if you're going up against them as a centre forward, as you know yourself, Looms, you want to cause them problems. You want to make sure that they're looking for you rather than them knowing where you are. And if Jimenez is getting frustrated and coming a little bit deeper, then that's quite easy for Fulham to mark because they know where he is. They can see him all the time. Once you start to get onto their shoulder a little bit more, because he's good in the air, he'll chase the ball over the top as well. Just get up there. Just be up there with Pedence, just feeding off you, and just try and make it difficult for Fulham to defend.
It's this situation, isn't it, whereby I don't know, Looms, how much Raul Jimenez, that's his natural game to drop in and try and get involved, and whether he does it sometimes because he's not seeing a lot of the ball, or whether it's something that he's been told to do and for the team to try and be fairly fluid.
Look, Raul Jimenez has it all. He can do everything really well, in my opinion. And if he's not seen a lot of the ball, he wants to come and have a touch. It's just a natural thing. There was one that Max Kilman fired it in, and it's a great touch, and then he plays it out wide to Saiss, but Saiss hadn't actually bombed on, and it just goes out. It's those little moments, that I don't mind that happening, because him doing that actually creates space. The space was there for him to come and collect it, but he just has to be a little bit more disciplined. Try and stretch it, knowing that if we can get into wide areas in the attacking third, then we will create. We will give him the service that he wants, so that he can go and get those chances and get on the end of it. So it's. I don't mind him coming and bouncing it, because that's part and parcel of the game as a striker as well. But he just has to make sure that he gives a lot. And it's the players around him, Pedence, Neto, Dendoncker. That's where we want them getting the ball. And then can they look forward? Can they drive forward? Can they commit the Fulham defenders? And that in itself creates space for other players. So, yeah, it's swings and roundabouts, isn't it? But he just has to have that discipline. But he's not seen a lot of the ball, so it's understandable that he's coming and getting it, Mikey.
Carl Ikeme, what have we made of Romain Saiss as a wing-back today?
Yeah, I think he's doing the best he can in a situation. It's never going to be natural to Saiss or Kilman really to be flying down that wing, but you can see he's trying to step. He's trying to step in, trying to get things going, but it's just not natural for him. That's where we kind of need Neto and Pedence to really get on the ball and start getting at players. I don't think it's going to be long till we see Traore. I feel like we need someone to take a few of the Fulham players out of the game, or at least cause them a little bit more of a distraction, because it is tight in there at the minute. Like you said, Jimenez is coming out wide, coming to drop deep just to try and get a touch of the ball, really, because the distance between Fulham's backline and their midfield is really tight. So I would like to see Traore soon, just to give Fulham something else to think about, and just try and take some players away from Jimenez, so he can get in that box.
Well, just what Carl said there, I think look how high the Fulham defence are. They're actually quite disciplined and they're stepping up all the time. I think if Traore's on, they'll be a little bit more fearful of that space in behind. And then straight away, if they then drop, what does that do? Then that creates a space for the likes of Neto or Dendoncker, whoever, or even Pedence, depending on who they take off for Traore.
Tom, I've been really impressed with Nelson Semedo for much of that first half. Made some really good runs, some really good takedowns and touches in around their penalty area. And as the boys have been discussing, he maybe should have had himself a goal.
Oh, without doubt, should have had himself a goal. He got into a great position, following it up the rebound from Neto's shot. But yeah, that's what he offers us. And so we've got players in the team who can pick that pass out. You've got your Neves and your Conakry who have done that in that first half. And we want to see more of it. We want to see him pushing on. We want to see him trying to break the lines of the Fulham defence, because when you do, it causes them so much problems. And also as well, it makes them drop off a little bit deeper as well, because they know if they keep holding the high line, that diagonal run that has come, because Neto's done it a few times on this left-hand side, but unfortunately we haven't really picked him out. but Semedo has definitely been a threat in that first half with those deep runs.
So we mentioned Adama Traore. Neither he nor João Moutinho have been out warming up at half time, which I don't know whether we read too much into that sometimes, Carl Ikeme. Like some of the other younger subs have been out there just kind of kicking the ball up between them, but maybe those two are held back in there to hear more things, or maybe they just don't want to come out in the cold. I don't know. I don't know what you subs do in those type of situations.
I think, especially in the fact of Moutinho, I think I'm sure a few jugs and he's ready to go, isn't he? But yeah, they're probably listening into what the gaffer wants at half time. I'm sure he's going to be trying to give advice of how he wants us to change and how he wants us to go forward in the first half. I don't think it was particularly bad. I just don't think that we flowed quite well. But like we sort of saying about Semedo, his little movements really was sort of opening space, but we needed more in them front areas to allow sort of what we were saying about Jimenez, to allow him to work in the area where he's going to score.
Okay, thank you very much, boys. More from Carl Ikeme and Chris Iwelumo at half time. I can tell you, by the way, that Wolves women are not having any problems scoring goals. They are 5-0 up at half time against Burton Albion, 4 for Jade Cross and 1 for Tammy George. It's Arsenal 0, Sheffield United 0 at half time in the other game in the Premier League right now. Don't go anywhere. The second half commentary of Wolves against Fulham here from Molineux is coming next on Wolves TV, Matchday Live Extra.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV, powered by Blight Group. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app. Wolves TV, Matchday Live, powered by Blight Group. Wolves TV, the home of live uninterrupted radio commentary of every single Wolves game.
Jimenez! Oh, you beauty!
But that's not all. Wolves TV also brings you extended and alternative match highlights, interviews with the team, behind-the-scenes features and training coverage.
So here we go. Second half is underway. Wolves playing from left to right as we look at it. Second half, which means they are attacking the Sir Jack Hayward South Bank, the empty Sir Jack Hayward South Bank. Hopefully, we can start to see fans coming back at some point soon, because trust me, everybody, it is not the same without you. Kilman back to Patricio. No changes from either side at the break then. Patricio in goal, Bolly, Cody and Kilman the back three. Semedo and Saiz the wing backs. Neves, Dendoncker, and then Neto, Pedence and Jimenez. Jimenez jumping high against Lamarchand. Pedence with a poor ball backwards again to Semedo, an easy interception. Bolly gets it back. He's not quite been up to speed, Daniel Pedence, today.
No, he hasn't. So that's a great ball there from Connor
what a
Cody,
ball by Connor Cody to find Daniel Pedence. Pedence's right-footed cross hanging in the air. Comfortable take by the keeper.
Yeah, it's another great ball from Connor Cody, wasn't it? He didn't even have to break his stride, Pedence. Just unfortunate that he just couldn't pick out that Wolves player in the penalty area, Jimenez.
Fulham with Alphonse Areola in goal. Aina, Ream, Lamarchand and Robinson the back four. And Guiso and Kearney in midfield two. Then Joe Bryan and Cavallero, the wide players, and Dick Cordova-Reid supporting Alexander Mitrovic.
Just looking at the way they're set up as well, when they've got them throwing out on that far side. They've got the two left backs, as we spoke about.
Yeah, Joe Bryan was right on the opposite touchline, maybe getting a few instructions. Mitrovic getting a free kick for Fulham. 10, 15 yards inside the Wolves' half.
You're looking again, Robinson's wide as well, isn't he? Robinson and Bryan out on this left-hand side.
Yeah, a lot of space if Fulham try and switch it.
Well, they're making no attempt. They've got a free kick and they're making no attempt to go in or... Oh, there you go. So there's the switch.
That's what Aina will do. Yeah. First to Robinson. Dendoncker having to come out. Low cross in towards Mitrovic, trying to take it on the turn and falling backwards. Puts it high and wide behind Rui Patricio's goal. 2.5 minutes played at the start of the second half. Wolves 0, Fulham 0. Richard Wilding listening in from South Africa, 3-1 Wolves. That's what he's hoping for. Bazo wants to see Traore on at left wing back. Thinks he'll create more than Saiz. Alex watched last week's match on my own. Much happier watching today with Aid in Bedford. Hope everybody is safe and well wherever you are tuned in, watching and listening to us today. As you can hear the wind picking up, the sun's actually come out. Beautiful blue sky above Molineux now. Semedo, midway inside the Fulham half, is in from the right-hand touchline. Nice ball to switch the play to Kilman, who dropped his shoulder and cut back in field. Now we'll look wide for Saiz. Donker was over there with them. Wolves have got Pedence and Neto out on this right-hand touchline. Neves finding Bolly. The short pass to the feet of Neto. Looking to drive on, finding Pedence. On down the line for Pedro Neto. Checking back onto his left foot. Curling cross and Aina's header sends the ball back towards where it came from. It'll be a Wolves throw by the right-hand corner flag.
Yeah, it's better play, wasn't it? Sound like a better play from Neto there. Then this right-hand side with Pedence. Again, still just can't pick that player out, can we? So we just need to make sure we get in there. Because I'll tell you what, if you put it in there, Jimenez will try his best to get on the end of it.
This is Pedence. Back to Willy Bolly, midway inside the Fulham half on the right-hand touchline still. Back down the line for Pedence to Semedo. Flicks it to Bolly. Neto is dropping deep as the ball goes to Cody, right-hand side of the centre circle. Cody finding the feet of Semedo. Semedo to Dendoncker. Nice flick in to Semedo. Back to Dendoncker. Edge of the penalty area. Try and tee it up for Neves to strike it low, and it's just wide of the left-hand post. Lovely little bit of interplay that, though. Semedo, Dendoncker, and eventually Neves with the strike.
Yeah, it's a good link-up play from the two of them. Just a fraction to it. Just watching his response when he's hit it wide. Oh, he hit it well, didn't he? Neves, so it's unfortunate, but good play down this right-hand side, though. Semedo and Dendoncker.
I mentioned last week that Ruben Neves hasn't scored a Premier League goal since the derby with Villa almost a year ago. He is more than due. Guisa, tackled by Dendoncker. Throw in Fulham, just in front of Scott Parker in his technical area. Brian will take 5.5 minutes into the second half. Robinson took it to Kearney, who looped it forwards. Cody getting the better of Mitrovic to find Bolly. Semedo and to go backwards. Cody will put his foot through it, clearing up towards Jimenez. Was challenged in the back by Ream unfairly. USA v Mexico there. Viva Mexico. Kilman. Over halfway wide for Saiz. Neto has set off. That's a lovely ball to find him as well. Neto, was he dragged down by Aina? Referee says no. Neves nearly stole it from Kearney. The issue was as well, though, there, as Wolves get a free kick for an inadvertent handball, that when the ball actually did reach Neto, nobody else was up there with him. It was a perfect opportunity to whip it in first time.
Well, you was just watching there as well. There was 3 players sprinting, but they were like 10 yards behind him as he's gone up there. Again, when I mentioned his half-time, that's where that gamble's got to come into it. Expect it to get there to him. Expect him to just get up the pitch and have a go.
Neves with a free kick, looking to lift it just inside the penalty area. Dendoncker challenged. Robinson got the better of him, though. Dendoncker has been left on the floor in the penalty area, holding his face. So Darren England will stop play to allow some treatment to come. Just a reminder, the early games finished Leicester 0, West Ham 3, Antonio Fornals and Bowen with the goals. Southampton 2. Team just down the road, West Bromwich Albion 0.
Who?
Yeah, you've heard of them. Gineppo and Romeo with the goals. All of which means that as it stands, the Premier League table, Burnley are bottom, having played a game less, -5 goal difference on 0. Then comes Albion with 1 point from 4 games. Then Fulham with the point that they are currently getting at the minute, but things could change, of course. Sheffield United trying to get their first point of the season away at Arsenal, still 0-0 there. Then Brighton, Man United and Wolves would move up to 14th, still with a -4 goal difference. But it is very early in the season.
Yeah. Like I say things are just people settling in with the new rivals and everything else that they're doing. So it doesn't help.
Dendoncker seems to be okay and won't need any more treatment. Just have to come to the side of the field.
Just watching Connor Cody there talking to Semedo, just saying, look, just make the run. Said, I'll pick you out, I'll find you. Just go running.
Does speak pretty good English, Nelson Semedo, by all accounts. Kearney. Wide to the right-hand side to Aina. Down the line for Cavallero. Kilman got there ahead of him. Out of play for Fulham throw. Traore, Fabio Silva, amongst those warming up for Wolves at the minute. João Moutinho as well. Aina fouled just over the halfway line for Fulham. Ream. Aina over halfway on the right-hand touch line. Kilman got there ahead of Mitrovic, and Jimenez at the other end has barreled his way through, and a good save by the goalkeeper, Dendoncker, with the follow-up. Areola onto his feet to save it. It was Kilman's clearance, and Jimenez did brilliantly to make the most of it.
Oh, it just shows his pace and power there, wasn't it? He just went away from Ream there quite easily.
Super instinctive ball forwards by Kilman. Jimenez, wrong side of his man, just found the feet of the keeper. Big opportunity. Dendoncker heading into the danger zone. Ream, it might fall to Dendoncker. What a block that is. It comes to Neto, who strikes it low into the bottom corner. Super finish by Pedro Neto. Finally, the breakthrough at Molineux. Jimenez denied a moment ago. Dendoncker denied by a super block, but Pedro Neto would not be denied. Wolves 1, Fulham 0.
Oh, what a great bit of pressure though from the Jimenez opportunity. Dendoncker having the shot then. Keeper did really well for Fulham, keeping them in it. But that's come from Dendoncker winning the header when we talk about him further up the pitch. But what a strike from Neto. Oh, just moves the ball slightly to his left-hand side and then hits it straight into the keeper's left-hand side. Great strike. Oh, got no chance to keep it. And he's had a good game so far, but he had no chance of that. Just the power and the accuracy of the shot.
He had gone 12 games without a goal, Pedro Neto.
Just watching it from a reverse angle here. Oh.
A lot will be expected of him this year, making that step up.
That's come from the opportunities that we had earlier, didn't we? Dendoncker getting into the penalty area. We talk about that presence and having that build to get in there, the height, and he's won that header.
So Wolves have the breakthrough. They have the advantage. And now it becomes a case of how much will Fulham gamble, and whether Wolves can add to their tally.
I think that they find it hard to adjust now because of the way that they've set up. We said about the two left backs. Unless they're bringing people off the bench to change the way they're going to play, it's going to be difficult for them, I think.
Moutinho, Fabio Silva and Traore go back to sit down. Out goes Keanu Hoover, Moutinho and Oscar Burt. Cody with a big diagonal looking for Jimenez. Aina heads it back to his goalkeeper. We talk about pressure moments. Areola, the Fulham goalkeeper, has had a very good game.
Oh, he's done some great saves, hasn't he? He's kept him in it. And so like you're saying that, I know we won the lot, but I say some of the saves that he's done just in this half.
There is Aina up towards the halfway line. Neto tracking with him. All for Cavallero. Kilman right at his back. Kilman showing good strength. Gets him across in front of Cavallero. Back to Saiz. Ball cleared to the halfway line.
I know we haven't mentioned it at half time, but he's had a good game as well, Kilman.
Kearney winning it back on the halfway line. De Cordova-Reid out to Cavallero on the right-hand side. Trying to run on the outside of Saiz. Now checking back. Has support if he needs it. Gets some from Anguissa. Infield to Kearney. Slap bang in the centre of the Wolves half. Low out to Robinson on the left-hand side. Looked to cross early. Deflected off Semedo. And Patricio saves it from going out of play. Again, another spot from our producer, Yanni, who has eyes everywhere that I don't. Suggesting that Pedro Neto was celebrating to the fans on the big screen that were put up on there. There's actually some really good images of fans celebrating on the big screen when the goal went in.
Why not? Why not?
And just like when he cupped his ear at West Ham, doesn't actually need anyone, because he kind of ran to the far side. On the far side, on the bottom tier of the Steve Ball stand, is where the majority of kind of fans' faces are that cover the seats. I know that fan faces make up the brilliant mosaic on the South Bank, but it's more evident on the bottom of the Steve Ball, and that's where Neto ran. He ran to the faces.
Well, so look, you've got to celebrate with him. Might as well celebrate with them.
I mean, you could hear them cheering. It was being played through the speaker system.
Yeah.
Just want him to reproduce his Anfield celebration. Still annoyed that got chalked off.
Oh, no.
Half a millimetre of offside on Johnny's foot.
Yeah. His heel, was it?
It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, we had a few of them last year, didn't we?
Dendoncker down the line for Pedro Neto. It's about 10 yards from the corner flag. He'll settle for the throw. Also interesting why everybody started talking about dodgy handball penalty decisions. Noticeable that same people weren't piping up when it cost Wolves at Burnley last year.
Yeah.
Exactly the same scenario. There you go.
No, it wasn't just the one, was it?
Not that we're bitter about it.
No.
Here's Bolly. Of course, Wolves kicked off last season with goal disallowed at Leicester.
Yeah.
It hit Bolly's arm and Dendoncker had put it in.
Well, we had both games against Leicester. We had a goal disallowed, didn't we?
Yeah. Neto, Semedo. Couldn't get it back to Neto. Sliding challenge by Bryant. VAR is not a bad thing. It's the way it's implemented sometimes, and that's what we're seeing with the handball rule at the minute.
Well, they've changed their mind about that again now, haven't they?
Well, they have and they haven't.
Yeah.
There's Honoraina.
Who knows?
Over the halfway line for Fulham. And to try and whip a cross in. Too deep that Semedo will let it go right to the corner flag before hitting it off Brian for a throw. I think the idea is that they won't be quite as kind of penalising for certain scenarios. If the arm is still up, so the one against Eric Dyer would still be given.
The Doughty one wouldn't. Is it the Doughty one where he's got his hand on the player and it's come off him?
For Tottenham, yeah.
That's what I mean.
It's a crunching challenge by Aina on Neto, midway inside the Wolves half. Wolves get a throw. That's just all that they get from it.
But also as well, what I do like is that the referees are starting to use the VAR screen on the other side of the pitch.
Talking of that Burnley decision, Mike Dean is the fourth official today. I was tempted to boo him when I saw him pull up in his car.
Talks highly of you as well.
I'm a professional, Tomo.
I know, we know that.
Here's Kearney. Robinson over the halfway line for Fulham. Just past the hour mark, 62 minutes played. Brian down the line. Robinson had continued his run. Dendoncker tracked him all the way. Fulham corner though. He's had another good game, Leander Dendoncker.
Yeah.
He was very impressive at Sheffield United on the opening weekend.
He does give you that bit of presence in the midfield area, doesn't he? Because he does get up and down, covers a lot of ground. And say involved in the goal as well.
Brian's corner, left-footed from the left-hand side. One arm in the air, looking to float it into the danger zone, comes all the way through, and Guisa, right hand side of the box, right on that line, trying to find some room. Aina, left-footed cross, just hanging high to the far post again. Mitrovic trying to bring it down. Semedo with a very good block, and the ball nearly bounced into the path of Neves. Aina headed it back to Ream. It goes all the way back to Areola, on the edge of his penalty area.
Well, I just saw there and said, look, as Neves was closing down, running forward, he's looked back and shouting, everybody, come on, come with me.
It's unusual for him to be so far forwards.
Yeah.
Cody. Oh, what a lovely ball. Out to Prudence. Another incredible pass from Connor Cody. Semedo. Dendonka. Back to Bolly on halfway. Wolves having a little bit more control, having got the goal. Jimenez to Kilman. First time wide for Saiz. Sets himself, crossing early, all the way through the penalty area. And Brian heading it behind for a corner. I think he was trying to hope it would go the other side of the corner flag. Got it wrong.
Yeah, I think he was trying to head it out for a throw because he had a little look where Prudence was, doesn't he?
Prudence is stood over the ball and he will leave it. I think he's trying to do something clever here. I think he was trying to just touch it and
leave it.
Yeah. And the assistant referee stepped in and said, no, we're not having that.
Why?
So Neto will play it short to Prudence instead. By the byline, pulled back to Neto. Now further back to Semedo on his left foot. Semedo with a low strike, just wide of the near post. Areola was scrambling for a moment. Still Wolves 1, Fulham 0, 64.5 minutes played.
Yeah, he has. I've just seen him do it again. And the assistant officials just not having none of it. He's put his foot on the ball even.
I don't know, are you supposed to tell the official that's what you're doing before you do it?
I don't think so. So look, at the end of the day, he took it. So he's just touched it just outside of the thing. If anything, he probably could have pulled him on that it hasn't rolled far enough or it hasn't moved far enough. He might have been able to pick him up on that.
Neves all the way back to Patricio. 65 minutes played. Patricio's kick. Brian won it in the air ahead of Semedo. Cody will just shepherd it back to Patricio.
Just seeing a little bit of experience there from Bolly. So look, Reid of Fulham was starting to chase the ball down and he just stood across him just to block him off.
Cody's ball to halfway. Ream up ahead of Neto. Kearney. And then Kearney took a whack by Ruben Neves. Just told to calm down by Darren England, the referee.
It looks like they're going to make a double change as well. Fulham.
Yeah, Boubacar Kamara is getting stripped. Whether he comes on for Mitrovic or whether they go with two up top.
Yes, and look,
there's Ademola Lookman, who will add a bit more pace to their attack. And it's Ivan Cavallero who will be replaced for Ademola Lookman. Well, not the send-off that he maybe should have got on his return. I'm going to applaud him anyway.
Yeah.
And Boubacar Kamara.
Brian, isn't it?
For Brian. So one of the left backs going off.
Yeah, well, they've got to go a bit more attacking, haven't they, to get themselves back into it.
So double change from Fulham. Wolves still keeping their powder dry for the time being. Lookman away from Neves. Wolves are going to call somebody back. And it will be João Moutinho. There's De Cordova-Reid. Trying to drive deep into the Wolves half. Kearney trying to hold off Kilman. Out to the right-hand side. Kamara's cross. Bolly, very good header away. Prudence with an awkward touch back, and Dendonka with a nice flick. Got him out of trouble. Jimenez with a touch. Neto now trying to drive forwards. Support arriving. Neto up against Olarena, trying to run past him on the outside, using his speed. Fizzes his cross behind for a goal kick.
It's unlucky that. It's unlucky because we did have bodies in there. You look at that again. Dendoncker, he's just run 60, 70 yards to get into that penalty area to help and support.
Fulham getting on with things quickly.
Yeah, so you're just looking at the formation and the plan now. Near enough got 4 up top. Lookman's a little bit deeper.
Kamara down the line. De Cordova-Reid tried to find him. Kilman stepped in. He's had a good game, Max Kilman.
He has. I said it, touched on it earlier. He's done well. He's done well with the ball.
Long ball forwards from him. Jimenez giving chase. And Jimenez has kept that in ahead of Olarena. And he's got support from Pedence as well. Jimenez still running. And he tried to go for goal himself when maybe the chance was there to slide in Daniel Pedence.
Oh, he's done absolutely brilliant, Jimenez, to get the ball, hasn't he? But I think that he needed to play Pedence in there.
Cutting in from that left-hand side. Pedence had made a great run to his right.
But both defenders of Fulham have gone towards him, haven't they, Jimenez?
There's Lookman. Back for Anguissa. João Moutinho is stripped and ready to come on. Kamara down the right-hand side. Miscontrols. Wolves throw. 20 minutes remaining.
So is that going to be a little bit of a change formation from us as well?
Well, I guess Moutinho could come on directly for Neves.
Yeah.
He's got through a big shift in that holding role in midfield. And obviously he was close to a yellow card a minute or so ago. Saiz closed down, but gets the goal kick out of it.
Yeah.
Here comes the change. It's Pedence that's going off.
So Neves and Dendoncker in that middle, you would think, wouldn't you? Jimenez up there, supported by Neto.
I guess Neves will stay where he is, and Moutinho will just slot in and allow Neto to push a bit further forwards. But more of a regulation 3-5-2 than beforehand. We've just seen a minute ago from Neto's pace, still driving at them. His goal is the difference so far. Pedence having missed the game at West Ham, returning. Not quite being as sharp as he'd looked in the opening couple of games. Jimenez for Moutinho. Barsh in the back by De Cordova-Reid. Managed to find Kilman. Cody. Playing early ball towards Neto. Off the head of Robinson. Wolves throw.
I think that it's on all the time though, isn't he? And you say you got somebody like Connor Cody who can pick that pass out. Might as well utilise it.
Semedo with the throw. 19 minutes remain. Jimenez coming short. Trying to hold off Robinson. Clever flick infield to Semedo. Semedo will get a free kick for the challenge of Le Marchand. Felt a little bit harsh.
I want to see the replay again because I thought he took the ball off him. Oh no, he's just caught his standing leg, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just caught it.
I think Semedo was off balance before the foot came in, but
we're having it, mate. We're having it.
Fair enough. Thank you, referee. Moutinho and Neto stood over the ball. It's a couple of yards from the left-hand corner of the box as Fulham defend the south bank to Jack Hayward end. Two-man wall blocking the route to the near post. Kilman, Bolly, Dendoncker, Jimenez, Saiz. Wolves have some real height in there. Fulham's defensive line pretty much level with the penalty spot. Neto or Moutinho. It's Moutinho to whip it in. Goalkeeper's decided to punch. Neto couldn't get there. Moutinho tried to chest it down and Lookman got it from him. Got away from Moutinho. And now, all of a sudden, Fulham have a real break on here. It's Alexander Mitrovic. Mitrovic up to the edge of the penalty area, squaring across for Kamara, who passes it straight to Rui Patricio. Wow, what a let-off. Fulham had the numbers. And they should have got themselves back level terms there.
Yeah, there's a definite opportunity for them, is it? I think it's probably that first effort to goal, is it? Or on target. But yeah, they got away with that. Because I think that's Mitrovic. I think he's scoring there.
Yeah, that's a huge sigh of relief.
Yeah, that is a let off.
Either side, and Patricio would have had real problems, thankfully for him and for Wolves. Kamara maybe went safety first.
Yeah, tried to side foot it, didn't he?
I mean, he probably had enough time to take a touch if he really wanted to.
Yeah.
There is Kamara again. Dangerous cross in. Cody
did enough.
Just did enough to put Mitrovic off. The Wolves goal is living a little bit of a charm life at the moment.
Yeah. Mitrovic there just had his head in his hands, didn't he? So like he just got the slightest touch. He just took it away from him.
Kearney wide for Robinson. On for the run of Anguissa. Just to the left-hand side of the box. Back to Robinson. First time cross is hanging high. Saiz did well to head the ball clear. Martinho trying to help it on its way. Aina there ahead of Jimenez though. Kearney. Ball is going to come back at Wolves. Robinson. Down the line for Lookman. Trying to get away from Dendoncker. Low cross. Bolly's touch just sent the ball high into the air. Awkward to deal with. And it came off Willy Bolly, and it will be a Fulham corner.
Well, this is a little spell that Wolves didn't want, isn't it? Semedo's just gone down. Probably just to relieve a little bit of pressure, I think.
Just watching back the cross from Kamara, where Cody, diving back towards his own goal, did brilliantly. Because his touch actually took it off the right leg of Alexander Mitrovic.
He must have thought he had it, didn't he, Mitrovic? He must have thought he'd got it.
Concern here for Nelson Semedo down inside the Wolves penalty area.
Just trying to see what the actual injury is from the physio.
Adama Traore was going to come on anyway, and it now looks like Kiana Hoover will come on as well. Just got the call to come back and get ready. Wolves with 15 minutes remaining. Traore's maybe just been told that his substitution may have to wait a second, so he's going back towards the stand.
If Semedo's injured and he's coming off, then you would have thought so, wouldn't you?
Seems to have extra strapping on that left shoulder, Adama Traore. The sub looks like it's changing.
Yeah.
Just waiting on Nelson Semedo. There is Kiana Hoover.
He's going on Hoover, isn't he, for him? I don't know what he's actually done.
Stretching out maybe a tight hamstring, maybe.
Yeah, or quad. Maybe a thigh strain or something.
In the meantime, Wolves having to defend with 10 men here. Semedo off the field, and they're not being allowed to make the sub yet. Defending this corner. It's taken short to Kearney. Lookman gets it back from him. Need to drive away from Martinho. Still cutting in field. Now back onto his left foot. Into the penalty area. Still going, Lookman. Back heel to Kearney. Oh, blocked by Martinho. Ball comes to Robinson. Lifts his cross high to the far post. Bolly's header. Comes to Kamara. Strike blocked by Neves. Comes out to Ola Aina. 35 yards from goal. Out to the right-hand side. Bobby de Cordova-Reid. Infield to Kearney. And Greaser backwards. Wolves trying to get their shape again, but they need the ball to go out of play to be able to complete the substitution. And Semedo's going to have to come back on in the meantime and try and help his team out defensively. He's back on the field, but limping.
Yeah, he don't look happy, does he?
Robinson, ball in field. Touched by Lamarchon. Lookman back to Robinson. Dangerous cross whipped in.
Well
Good
done.
take by Rui Patricio.
Yeah.
And the signal from Nuno is to calm things
Yeah,
down.
both hands, wasn't it then? Just calm down.
Going out short to Martinho. Wide to Jimenez. Passes to Semedo, who clearly doesn't want the ball. Gave it to Bolly, and Bolly gave it him back. Long ball forwards that Neto might benefit from a poor header clear here. And it's Neto to the edge of the box trying to shoot. Blocked off by Ream. Deflected behind for a corner. And Wolves can finally make that change.
Yeah. Well, he's telling them to wait now, Semedo.
Semedo suggesting he might be okay.
He don't look okay. They'll just
Nuno's asking.
I think he's made the decision for him.
Kiana Hoover for a home debut. Just as they did last week at West Ham. Hoover on for Semedo.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth the risk. If there's any problem with Semedo, come off. Don't hurt it anymore.
Well, Wolves going in search of a second here. So just give them a bit of a cushion. Less than 12 minutes to play. Martinho right-footed from the left-hand side for the set piece. To whip it into the danger zone. The goalkeeper claims it in the 6-yard box. Rolls it out quickly. Lookman. Just enough on that, I think, by Neves. Cody with an excellent first-time ball. Martinho. Jimenez. Oh, now Jimenez dragged back by Le Marchand. Has to be a yellow card coming here.
Yeah, it's too clever for him, money. Saw him come in, just a little flick over the top of him.
The Wolves get a free kick in actually a really dangerous position here. What, 25 yards out? Just to the left of centre as he looked towards goal. Jimenez did brilliantly. Would have been away. But Neves is placing this. Referee's making him come 2 yards further back than he wants to. And Neves, having then stood next to Darren England, bent down and stretched as far forward as he possibly could to place the ball.
Yeah, slightly forward.
Yeah, I am next to you, ref, I promise.
Yeah, well, he's already got his spray out, so that's it done. Can't cheat now. Can't move forward.
Well, the wall is just outside the penalty area.
Well, there's only Neves on it, so he must fancy it.
All about following in, maybe.
Yeah.
For those who are in and around the penalty area.
Yeah, we talk about having a gamble. Just time your run, get in there.
Ruben Neves to step up right-footed. Can he produce something special again? It's Neves, it hits the wall and bounces wide. And Neves, under pressure, gets the loose ball first. The big build-up wasn't quite equal to it. Patricio's kick towards Hoover. Came off the head of Robinson. Wolves throw on halfway. Traore is back out in the technical area, ready to come on. Paul, our security man's gone and played. There's ball boy there.
I thought he's bringing him on.
I think he quite realises that we're 1-0 up and trying to slow this thing down. Steady on, Paul. Bobby Decordova-Reid off. And Neetkens Cabano is on. Third and final change from Fulham. Who are very much in this game, and that's probably an unusual feeling in some of their Premier League matches. But what a pass to find Raul Jimenez, right-hand side of the penalty area. Oh, he and Hoover, miscommunication.
Oh.
Hoover started to go for the overlap, stopped. Jimenez played the pass. Hoover couldn't get there, and it goes behind for a goal kick. And Pedro Neto, whose goal separates the teams, will be replaced by Adama Traore. It was an excellent finish from him, Tomo.
Yeah,
he's had a good game.
Oh, he has. He's done well, hasn't he? So, look, he's been willing to go forward again, and so that's what I like about him. How positive he is. We're just watching the replay again. His shot just shifted it to the side to his left foot and just hit it hard and low into the bottom corner. Just getting back to that one earlier, though. Just Connor Cody again with another 50, 60-yard ball. Diagonal to Jimenez.
Neto getting the congratulations. Traore on up top with Jimenez. It's not a bad sub to have.
No, it's not, is it? It is for Fulham.
Putting pressure on Le Marchand. Bolly's headed back over halfway. Kearney with it. 8 minutes remaining. Wolves 1, Fulham 0. Wouldn't rule out more goals just yet.
Yeah, it's got to stay strong now, isn't it? No need to go and nick anything.
Kamara with a loose one back. Jimenez got there ahead of Ream. Saiss is taking it on down the left-hand touchline, and he's beaten Kamara. And now he feeds it infield to Traore. And Traore trying to help it on towards Jimenez, and Fulham had the numbers back. Robinson with the clearance. Cabano being forced backwards by Saiz. Excellent run by Romain Saiz. He can add left wing back to his portfolio of positions. Robinson, just short of halfway for Fulham. Back to Le Marchand. Now Ream. Obvious ball is to Aina on the right-hand side, up to halfway. Down the line to Abubakar Kamara. Aina, infield for Kearney. Back to Ream. Traore giving chase. Switched across to Le Marchand. Over halfway to Lookman. Being held up by Dendoncker. Forced in field. Checking back to try and go on the outside.
He's lively, isn't he, Lookman?
Yeah, it's buzzing.
He's, yeah, it's causing.
Balls finds Niskan Cabano. And Cabano forced wide by Cody. Strikes it behind for a goal kick.
I thought that he just got a touch on that, Connor Cody. I was looking at the replay. I thought he done really well marshalling him, pushing him wide. No, possibly not. But he did well there, Connor Cody, to put enough pressure on him just to miss it.
Arsenal 2, Sheffield United 0 is the latest score, by the way, in the other Premier League games. Saka and Pepe. Saka getting a call-up with England, I think.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
Join up with Connor Cody.
First one.
And Greece's header forwards. Traore trying to put pressure on Anguissa on halfway. Got a touch to it. Throw in. Everybody wanted that throw. Even Nuno appealing. It went Fulham's way.
Both benches, wasn't it?
Both benches and pretty much 22 players were all appealing. That's what it means with 5.5 minutes to go. Saiz reading a loose pass from Olarena over the halfway line to Matinho. Back wide for Romain Saiz. Matinho was taken down off the ball. Picks himself up, collects it. Finds Neves. Back to Cody. Cody to Jimenez. Now, Hoover's ball. And Anguissa. Jimenez has taken it away from him. Oh, and then he runs into Le Marchand when he had Hoover racing up on the outside. Just a couple of times today, Raul Jimenez has not quite been on the same wavelength as his teammates.
Yeah, he just tries really hard, doesn't he, every time, doesn't he? Just puts effort in. Salak, unfortunately, sometimes don't come off.
Kearney trying to wriggle his way through, and he's going to get a free kick in a very dangerous area. He got away from Neves and then managed to find the foul. Less than 25 yards out on the right of centre as you look towards Rui Patricio's goal.
Well, this could be a problem, couldn't it?
Got away from Neves and Dendoncker kind of reaches for him. Wasn't a huge amount in it.
No.
Kearney and Cabano stood over the ball.
The way that Cabano was putting the ball down, you think that he's going to be the one taking it.
It's pretty much the same distance that Neves was a few moments ago. Wolves wall just outside the penalty area. Patricio has lined it up. He's just to the left of centre as you look towards goal. It's Cabano who will strike it straight into the wall. Comes out to Le Marchand who hits it, and it's well wide of Patricio's goal.
Yeah, Wall did its job, didn't it? Stopped him from getting it through it. Closed it down well. What's that? Just over 3 minutes left.
Yeah. Here's Kearney. Aina. Kearney again, look to switch it out to the left-hand side to Robinson, who'd run deep in the Wolves' half. Yana Hoover with him. Support from Anguissa. To Lookman.
Well done.
Let's give it as a Wolves
well
throw.
Did well with him, Robinson.
Hoover will take it. Traore with a heavy touch, and Guisa able to get in ahead of him. Lamarchon for Kearney. Now to Oloaina. Cabano back to Kearney. Nervy last couple of minutes here. 2 still to play. Kamara around the outside of Saiz. Heavy cross goes all the way through the penalty area. And Hoover jumps ahead of Robinson to concede the throw. Robinson, touched by Hoover, who fires it towards the stand. Fulham's bench turn to play ball boys. Robinson's throw down the line. Gets it back from Lookman. Low ball to the edge of the box. Saiz read that danger superbly well and cleared to halfway.
Yeah, he did well there, didn't he? Saiz just read it well.
Lamarchon back to Ream, deep inside his own half. Minute 15 of the 90 remaining. Didn't have anything added on in the first half. That clearly will be in the second. Ball up to Mitrovic, to Cabano, who strikes it, and that wasn't far off at all. Swerving, just didn't quite dip enough from Fulham's point of view. Rui Patricio always seemed pretty calm. Maybe the calmest man inside and outside Molineux at that moment.
Yeah, well, they're flooding players forward now, aren't they? Trying to get the equaliser, Fulham. And I say, if you've got that many bodies up front and you keep pushing the ball forward, sooner or later it's going to break to you, as it did there. Fortunate that he just hit it over the bar.
Patricio's kick and Guisa's header forwards. Moutinho with a touch. Trying to close down Kearney. Ball comes to Anguissa on halfway. Foul by Dendoncker. Some of the Fulham coaching staff playing ball boy on the pitch there.
I was going to say, he's on the pitch. He wasn't just getting the ball, he was on it.
Jimenez slowing things down, not allowing Lamarchon to take it quickly. Switch to the right back, Oloaina. Last few seconds of the 90. Mike Dean is ready with the board for how much time will be added on. And the answer is 4 minutes. Areola. Short for Kearney. Fulham are really pressing.
Yeah, I don't know if Traore's actually touched the ball yet, has he?
Barely. Lamarchon for Lookman on the left-hand side. Balls to Cabano. Strong challenge by Willy Bolly. Back to Kiana Hoover. And it's going to be a Fulham throw. And
well,
Wolves are asking the question. They felt they should have had a foul.
Just about to say that. I thought it was a foul on Bolly.
Robinson's throw. Lookman back to Anguissa. Trying to feed it infield. Cabano miscontrol, allows Bolly to get in front of him and see it behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, I thought it was a foul on the Bolly there, but nothing was given. And I think that's what Conor Cardy's asking the question with the referee.
Well, we're nearly through, pretty much through one of the 4 minutes being added on. Patricio's kick. Dendoncker beaten by Robinson on the halfway. Hoover back over the halfway line. Neves couldn't find Traore. Lamarchon for Robinson. Lookman on the turn. Fouled by Neves, who will get himself a yellow card.
He's looked lively since he's come on and see Lookman. He's been a problem.
He didn't like some of the afters of that either. Yellow card, Ruben Neves. Still, Fulham will press and hope for a late equaliser. Wolves have been here many times before.
Yeah, just got to stay strong, haven't they? Stay up, defend well.
Kearney to try and whip it in. Wolves trying to hold their line as high as they can. Into the penalty area it goes. Neves will put his foot through it to try and hook it clear. Kearney brought it down. Traore trying to press. Ream for Oloaina. Onto the Fulham right. Kamara infield to Kearney. Back out wide for Kamara, who will set himself and cross from deep. Kilman was well positioned. Clears it into the stand.
We were lucky there as well because they had an extra man at the back post at one stage in that attack. So we're fortunate that he didn't come in. Looks like it's going to be a long throw though.
90 seconds remaining. Aina took it short to Kearney. Back down the line for Olorena. One touch to set himself to the byline. Cross hanging up. Brilliant take by Maria Patricio.
That's what you want from your keeper, isn't it? Coming out, gathering that, leave the pressure.
Patricio's kick downfield. Ream had to head it with Jimenez close to him. Neves just hooking it deep in the Fulham half. And Ream will head it back to his goalkeeper. Last 45 seconds. Robinson down the left-hand side, over the halfway line. Back just into his own half to Anguissa. Thought about just lumping it forwards. Instead, we'll switch it to the right-hand side to Olorena. Saiz having to go out to track him.
We've got 6 up front now, Fulham. Got everybody up there. Centre halves have gone up as well.
Kenny's ball forwards. Kiana Hoover's header away. Maybe had a bit more time than he realised. 15 seconds of the time added on to go. Anguissa, infield away from Traore. In towards Mitrovic. Mitrovic trying to get there. Bolly will put his foot through it and clear it. Jimenez giving chase, and Jimenez can't quite keep it in, but it will take up enough seconds.
That looks fell throw.
And Jimenez stepping in, winning it back. Saiz infield.
There you go.
There's the final whistle. Wolves have got themselves the victory. Back to winning ways. Perhaps not quite in the fashion that many expected against a struggling Fulham team. Though Fulham came and tried to keep as much possession as possible, tried to frustrate Wolves when Wolves had the ball. Eventually, having seen a number of good saves made by Alphonse Areola, Pedro Neto found a way past him into the bottom corner. That's the difference between the two sides. And Wolves take all 3 points and their first home win of the new campaign. It finished Wolves 1, Fulham 0.
Yeah, not the most convincing win, but it's a win. Clean sheet, got that goal. Good strike from Neto. So Fulham threw everything at Wolves in that second half. They had big spells where Wolves were just able to keep them there. But look, it's all about the result, isn't it? Getting the right result. Okay, the performance needs to come, and I'm sure it will. But he'll take the 3 points going into that break now.
Yeah, when you've been beaten 4-0 last week, just get the win.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, the result in the end. I know we all want the performance. We want the team to play well. But especially with a break now, so going into the international, so like we just needed 3 points.
And let me tell you,
here we go.
Somebody got a prediction right again. We'll talk more about that. We'll get more from Eddie Thompson, and we'll hear from Chris Iwelumo and Carl Ikeme coming next. Don't go anywhere. This is Wolves TV Matchday Live Extra.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV, powered by Blythe Group. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app. Wolves TV Matchday Live, powered by Blythe Group.
This season, the Old Gold Club and Wolves TV Matchday Live are powered by Blythe Group, an industry-leading construction company and family-run business since 1982, driving investment and infrastructure across the UK. Blythe Group's mission is to provide an unrivaled service based on innovative, bespoke building solutions and comprehensive customer support. If you're a skilled tradesperson and you want to join the team that powers our team, contact their bases in Wolverhampton, Manchester or Maidenhead via theblythegroup.co.uk. Blythe Group, big enough to deliver, small enough to care. Coutinho trying to release Jota down the left-hand side. Goalkeeper thought about coming in and didn't. Jota is wiped out just outside the penalty area. This is going to be a yellow card coming.
It's just too quick for him.
João Moutinho, the step at right footed from the free kick. Calls it all! That's unbelievable! João Moutinho has whipped it into the far top corner. Can you believe this? 60 games without a goal comes to an end. Magic Moutinho, 5'7" of football heaven, delivers on the south coast. Moutinho trying to take the free kick quickly, in behind for Traore, low on a cross, oh that's brilliant, turned home by Raul Jimenez, a stunning counter-attacking goal from the set piece. It's unbelievable football.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV, powered by Blight Group. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app. Wolves TV, Matchday Live, powered by Blight Group.
So, Wolves back to winning ways. A 1-0 win thanks to Pedro Neto's strike. We might hear from Pedro Neto very soon, but let's get some thoughts from Chris Iwelumo and Carl Ikeme. Keems, I'll come to you first. They did enough and got the 3 points, and that's what really matters.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't say the performance was outstanding. I think we deserved the win. We created the better chances. It could have been more, but the 3 points are probably the most important thing now. I didn't want to say it before the game, but I thought it was a must-win. And I know it seems early to say that, but you just don't want the sort of the couple of losses lingering, and then all of a sudden you're on a bit of a bad run. I think it's important to win today against a Fulham team that turned up to try and do a job on Wolves. In all honesty, they've been struggling themselves, and it was in a game where you kind of wanted to slip by without getting the win. So I think the result is the most important thing. We did look better second half in some stages. I know Fulham coming into it towards the end of the game, but I don't think there could be any doubt that we deserved the victory.
Looms, we can't hear you at the minute. We'll try and sort that out in just a second. Andy Thompson, Keems is right, isn't he? You mentioned it. It's kind of just get the 3 points. That's all they needed. People aren't going to look back on this in 6-8 months and talk about the performance.
No, so the main thing was the result for me. As Keems was just touching on there, he didn't want to mention anything, but going into the break, having a 2-week break there, not having a victory would have hurt a little bit more. So wasn't the most convincing performance. They probably deserved it with the chances that they had, keeping Fulham out. But you'll take the 3 points. That's what you want. You wanted the result, and that's what you got.
Well, while Chris Iwelumo sorts himself out, let's go down to pitch side and get a little bit of reaction. Joining us on Player Cam. Hopefully he can hear us. Hello, my friend, to Pedro Neto.
How are you, Mikey?
I'm good, my friend. I'm good. How much did you enjoy that today?
It was very good, my friend. To score a goal, to help the team, to take the 3 points, it was very important for us. I'm very happy, my friend.
How important was it after the result last week just to get 3 points here today?
Yeah, it was very important. We came from 2 defeats against City and then West Ham. We know that we have to improve, to change our minds, to go forward. So today we work harder than the other days. I think we improve since the last game, so we take the victory. It was very important, a difficult game, so we are very happy.
Always there, I guess, where you have to be patient in games like this, don't you? Because Fulham, in the situation they're in, we're always going to try and make life difficult for you.
Yeah, we know that they came for 3 defeats in the championship. So we know that we'll come stronger too. But today we work hard. We have been patient since the beginning of the game. We work well. At the end, we lost a little bit the control of the game, but we are very happy because we achieved the 3 points.
Pedro,
I have to ask you, after the defeats that we've experienced over the last probably couple of seasons, we've always reacted, haven't we? We've always reacted. We've always nipped it in the bud, and we've got a win or we've got a draw. What is that? What does that say about the character of the squad?
Yeah, it shows the character of the squad because we come from the defeat. We know that we have to work hard. We can work harder than we work as much as we can, because we know that this game, it was very important to get the win. It was a must-win game, and the squad showed today the mentality of this team, and it was very important for us.
Pedro, what did Nuno say at half time? Because it was a tight game, so look, I know we had a couple of chances in that first half, but what did Nuno say to you at half time then to go out and do?
We had to be patient, not only to play side to side, to try to break them on the middle, and I think that we did it in the second half, and it was very important. Like the coach said in the beginning, it was a must-win game. Today we take the 3 points, and it was very important.
Go on, Carl Ikeme.
I just wanted to touch on what a sort of variation of what Tomo asked, really. In the second half, it seemed you seemed personally to drift from side to side a little bit more. Was that something that you took upon yourself, or was that tactics at half time?
Yeah, we try to. I try to look at the space between them, changing the sides to create superiority one side and the other, and because we know that they were leaving spaces in the middle, I tried to change sides, like I said, to create superiority on the sides, to help Nelson and Podence when Podence goes to the right side, to create dynamics, and we did the goal, and it was very good.
Yeah, it really seemed to make a difference. You started to drift off to the right with Podence, and it started to cause them more problems, and the game sort of seemed to open up a little bit more from there, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, because we know that we had to play short. We had they defend very low, and we know that the spaces were on the middle. We tried to play compact between me and Raul and the Podence, so to create superiority, then go wide and try to cross.
Pedro, congratulations on that goal as well. It was a lovely take. You were very close to getting one on your right foot in the first half as well.
Yeah. Mikey, I score more goals with my right foot than with the left foot, my friend.
Have you kind of set yourself a target this year for how many goals that you want to get?
No, my friend. I don't. I live the present. Like I said, I work hard every day to make the best I can. So I go day by day, try, of course, to score goals, but the most important to help the team.
Pedro, I have to ask you as well. Obviously, there's been a couple of signings come into the squad. What does that do for the group of players, seeing the calibre and the standard of player come in?
Sorry, I didn't hear. Sorry.
Just talking about the standard of player that Wolves have signed and recruited. What does that do for the group, the changing room, when they see the standard of the player that Wolves are signing?
Like I said in the last interviews, the qualities of the players that came, it is very high, Now it's try to help them to adapt, like Nelson. It's going very well. He played this game. He played very well. We are trying to help them to understand what are the ideas of the team, because we are a different group. You have to work hard when you come in on this group, They are working very well. They are adapting yet at the team, and I think that the future will be very good for them here.
I like how Pedro needed a translator for your thick Scottish accent.
Pedro, just finally before we let you go, just a quick word for the fans, because we thought we spotted you celebrating with them on the big screen after that goal. It must be weird.
No, my friend. Like I said, it was my first goal at Molineux. In the Premier League. Without fans, it was difficult. It was special, of course, but without the fans, it's difficult. But it was my celebration, my friend. Normally, I try to, hey, fans there. No, today we're not fans, and running with my knees. It was very special for me, my friend.
Special performance. Well done today, Pedro.
Thank you, Mikey.
Good to speak to you. Pedro Neto joining us on Matchday Live Extra. He's not the only one that needs a translator sometimes to hear what Chris Iwelumo
Where's the subtitles?
is trying to say. He was good today, wasn't he? He was really good, I thought.
No, he was good. I think he's always trying to make something happen, isn't he? And he's like, he's so alive, and he anticipates. He doesn't react. He anticipates, and he's watching. He reads the game very well. I thought that the finish was excellent. There was a lot of bodies in front of him, but just the take, he knew exactly where the goal was. And that's the accuracy of the shot, the power of the shot. Very difficult for a goalkeeper, that, Keems, isn't it? It comes through the legs. It can take a little nick as well, but it was a very clean strike.
Yeah, it's a great, like you said, Limbs, real clean strike. Little backlift. As a keeper, you hate it. You sort of buddies around the box, and with such a clean strike, the keeper had no chance. And you sort of, as soon as you hit it, you knew it was in. But to sort of touch on sort of what he brought to the team, I thought second half especially, he was one of the team members that sort of tried to get the game by the scruff of the neck. Yeah. And I think it's important for him to do that now, because he's going to become a big player for Wolves this season with the likes of Yatta going as well. So I'm delighted that he's got his goal as well, and it's going to give him a massive confidence boost.
Well, thanks for answering me there, Keems. I thought you were going to kill me off by saying, what did you say?
I understand you now, mate. I've known you a long time.
It's all good, mate. It's all good. Don't you worry about it.
It was a key moment, actually, wasn't it, Tomo? Because literally about 60 seconds before it, Jimenez had got onto the end of what was a kind of a half clearance, half incredible pass by Max Kilman. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. And drew a good save. Fair play, Areola, I thought was really good for Fulham today. But Wolves will probably feel like they should have gone ahead then. So to make sure that they did get ahead a moment or so later turned out to be really important.
Yeah, it was. They had those two opportunities in the first half as well, where the keepers pulled off two great saves to keep them in it. And then you got the little break, what Jimenez got it from Kilner's ball, what you're talking about there, yeah. But again, we spoke about Dendoncker being in that penalty area and getting something out of the game, and he was there to get his head to it, to keep the ball going in the right way for Wolves. So look, it's a great strike, great effort from him, but that's one thing that he brings to the team, his energy, and he's positive with everything he does, Neto. He wants to go forward. He wants to drive forward all the time, and it helps get the team further up the pitch. And so, again, today, he's got a great goal out of it.
You mentioned Dendoncker, Carl Ikeme. I thought he was very impressive again today, the Belgian.
He just never lets you down, does he? Like, every time he puts to the wall shot, and he always comes up with a performance. You know what you're going to get. You know he's going to give it you all. And just impressive again. I was really impressed with Max Kilman as well, to be honest. I think that Wolves have got a good player on their hands. It's good to see him get minutes. I think the more minutes he gets, the more he'll grow as well. And it's good to see someone coming through the ranks as well. He's going to know the system inside out, because he's been around the team for such a long time, and I'm really happy to see him get his opportunity. But yeah, him and Dendoncker were brilliant today.
He looks comfortable on the ball. Kilman, sorry.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he's a former England futsal international, so he's always going to be kind of comfortable enough to play with it. It's the composure in other areas, Tomo, that I was really impressed with Max Kilman, in that, there were times when maybe he could have been rushed. There were times when Cavallero, who we know is a tricky player, was up against him, and yet he stood to it.
Yeah, he doesn't get phased, does he? So look, he's nice and calm on the ball. He's got faith in his own ability. That's nice to see, that he knows the situation that he's in, where he can play, what he can do. And he did that really very well today. So look, he looks very comfortable. So look, and as pressure was put on him by the Fulham attackers, he stood up to it. He stood up to it really well. There's some great passes what he did. So there was a couple impressive ones in that first half. And then you talk about that ball that he played to Jimenez, what went through. So look, he's come through to there and passed it to Jimenez. But look, so look, he's done himself no harm at all in the side today.
Well, Chris Iwelumo, how about this for some stats for Max Kilman? Touches, 69. That was first in the team. Pass success, 95%, best in the team. Key passes, 2, second most in the team. Completed passes, 56, second most in the team. I mean, I know he's not in there necessarily to pass the ball, but in terms of his overall game, he can be pretty pleased with that.
Oh, he'll be delighted. It's the responsibility of a defender now. They have to be able to pass the ball. That's the way that Nuno wants them to play, to come out. Can they play through the thirds? And I thought he was excellent today. He ticked all the boxes, didn't he? So it's all about small margins, isn't it? He's had an opportunity. He's taken it. Like Keems has said, I think at Wolves, all the way down, all the levels, they try and mirror the first team so that all the players have an understanding of the position, the responsibilities, and then it's just having no fear when you actually come into that first team group. And I think it's quite a relaxed group to come in. I think the standards are set very, very high. But I think that is all the way through the levels. So I think Max's Kilman's come in and he's been outstanding today. And really, I think Nuno, he's put his name in the back of Nuno's head for the opportunity, and he might become a starter just for the very fact that if he can keep reaching those levels, Nuno knows that he can rely, as Steele says, he can trust them. Then why not?
And that's the thing as a manager, though, isn't it? That you can trust players and you know they can be reliable when they come into the team. And that's what it's all about. He knows that he can come in there and do a job for him when he's called upon. So, like, and again, once you get your chance, you've got to take it. And he's done that today. It's been impressive.
I think every time I've seen him play, he's delivered, in all honesty. And like you both touched on, the composure, and when you're coming up to the first team, proving it there as well. And every time I know we could talk about composure on the ball, and he's very good on the ball, but he's composed when someone's running at him, and which is the most important thing in that position for him at the minute as well. So yeah, I've been impressed with him every time I've seen him today. But I think today it was just the sort of the light bulb in my moment in my head. Sorry, words, but yeah, this boy's good. He could end up being cemented in this position.
Well, he's on Wolves TV media duty as well right now down at pitchside. So you'll be able to see that interview on Wolves TV, wolves.co.uk, of course, and Wolves across our social media channels to find out what Max Kilman has had to say about today's game. It raises a question, Tomo, as well, because, look, we anticipate that the club are trying to be active in the next 24, 48 hours, and there might be a wing back coming in, though maybe Romain Saiss and Max Kilman have put their hands up and said, this is an option now. That there is different things we can do with this squad. They've still got Marcel to come back. Johnny, obviously, in a couple of months' time, hopefully. Suddenly, there are lots of decisions. That starting 11 is not nailed down anymore.
Yeah, that's what Nuno's got the job. So, look, he's going to make these tough decisions. But look, all you can do is go into the side and play as best you can, and then think to the manager, well, I've done that for you. I'm always here, and I'm reliable. You can pick me if you want to. And that's what it's all about. It's always about thinking that the manager can always put you into his mind, that thinking, well, I can play him there, I can play him there. And again, we've said about Saiss playing in another position. It's something else that they can look at. He probably won't be playing there regular, but we've always got that backup, what we can actually play players. We can put them into positions where they can have a go. Kilman's coming today, done a great job. Saiss did okay on that left-hand side as well. So it's all about making sure that the manager realises, look, if you need me, I'm here. And that's what it's about.
I think it's about having options as well. And I don't think Nuno's going to be thinking that. I know they have done brilliant today, Saiss and Kilman down that side, but I don't think he's thinking, they've done well, we'll stick with that this season. No. Because at the same time, we didn't look that fluid in the first half. So I think he wants someone who's going to be probably a little bit more attacking than them two players are. But you've got two left-sided centre-halves now who you can rely on, and no matter what, if one drops out of form or you've had a few games and you need to keep swapping it, Saiss needs to go in midfield, you've got that option now. Or if it's just a game where you need to keep it tight and you want to play two solid people down that side, you've got the option to do it. And I think that's the sort of conundrum and what Max has offered now. And it's only good news for Wolves.
Yeah. Because this is the element, isn't it, Chris Iwelumo, that when we look at kind of the transfer business as a whole and what we now have moving forwards for the rest of this campaign after the international break, I guess the key focus that Nuno talked about after the Sevilla match was wanting to have options in amongst there. And that didn't necessarily mean bringing in loads more bodies, because he doesn't want a huge squad. Now they've got a core group, 18 to 20, and each of them you could make a case for most of them playing.
No, that's exactly what Nuno wants, isn't it? He wants that competition because it gets the best out of the individuals as well. Like Carl's already said there, players can play in other positions. If there's cover, whatever scenario the game throws at you, if you have to be a little bit more defensive minded, then he can do that with the personnel that he's got. But it's like you say, the squad of players, the group of players, they've shown that they've got the character. They've bounced back after what was a poor performance, which was a shocking result, and they've got over the line. It's about looking to the next game now. What is it? It's Leeds away. That's a massive game, isn't it? Massive game. So it's important. It's important that the focus is on that. The international break's coming now. The players will go away. They'll make sure that they recover right. But Nuno has hopefully there'll still be one or two players, if anything, can possibly come in. I know that he's definitely looking, but he must be happy with the group. That, like you say, that 18 to 20 group of players that he has, he will be very happy. And trust me, Max Kilman's not started today. Nuno doesn't. He's sitting thinking, I'm not too sure. He knows exactly what Max Kilman's got. He knows exactly the quality he's got. That's why he started today. And all Max Kilman's done is just cemented that fact and that faith that Nuno already had in him anyway.
I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Final word, I guess, Carl Ikeme, that football sometimes, if you kind of said that, right, opening 4 games, Wolves are going to have 6 points, that's not a bad start at all, really.
Yeah, it's not a bad start. Although we've just got, so we've set the standards high, haven't we? And we've got high expectations of performance, especially. We all keep it real at the same time because we know where we're at the stage. But it's not a bad start. I think it's going to be difficult for Wolves initially. I think personally, with the sort of movement of coming in and out of players, it's difficult anyway with the times we're in. But I think it's going to take the Semedo looked brilliant today. The other players that will come in, it's going to take them a little time to gel to fit to the formation that we played over the past few years, which obviously the likes of Doc and Josh kind of knew anyway. So it's just going to be a bit of time before we start seeing, I think, a bit more fluidity and a bit more better football. But I believe it will come. I just think it's just a matter of time before we everyone kind of settles down and we can start playing with a bit more of a rhythm.
2 wins from the opening 4 games. 2 correct predictions from the opening 4 games for this guy.
Oh my God, you're such a god.
Have you actually got it written down, Mikey? Have you got it written down?
I haven't. No, I know what I predict.
Because just remember what you said. You kind of gave like two kind of the first one that we got. You kind of said, I think it's going to be 2-0 or 2-1. So you never really cemented down the one.
No, I said 2-0 and I said 1-0 today, and I was correct. And that means that I am 2-0 up in the prediction challenge. Nobody else has got one right. I've got 2 right. I'm the big winner. Thank you very much.
I like how this has become a game now because you're winning. You never normally count how many people have got the right predictions normally.
Hey, listen.
I think you'd be shouting if you hadn't got any.
It's just because Looms and Tomo have got the whole of the international break to stew over the fact that this guy is the big winner at the moment. Thank you very much, Carl Ikeme, Chris Iwelumo, Andy Thompson. Thank you to Richard Stearman for joining us pre-game. Thank you as well to Pedro Neto for joining us post-game. Thank you to you for watching and listening. Enjoy the international break. Don't forget there are still under 23 games that you'll get coverage of here on Wolves TV. And for a couple of weeks' time, enjoy yourselves. We'll see you all soon.
Cheers, fellas.